these matchups.
They're so smart.
Well then,
I'm not surprised.
I think it's time to go to the predictions here. Achilles, you seem like you're a little perturbed, maybe a little verklempt. What's going on? Who do you got winning?
Good vocabulary is getting shown off there. But look, like I said, version 1, they looked dominant. They looked like they were adapting on the fly. So it looked really great. So version 1, adapting to that. Between the two of them, they're going to download the ever-loving hell out of version 1.
Bring it.
And they are going to destroy them. They're going to advance forward.
Wow.
That's it.
Destroy. That is a very strong term. I expected Achilles to just go on the Korean bias, but that is aggressive value. Who do you got? Obviously, I know, but why don't you tell the viewers at home?
Is that...
Lothar. All right, Lothar, you're going to have your turn. Speaking of Lothar.
No, dude, I just wanted to ask, is Achilles the 6th player of that team?
I think he might be.
Here, you know?
He very well might be.
Hype man, right? Exactly. I'm going to be honest. I mean, unlike European fans out there coming from the NA, we know what winning feels like because that is just all we do. I'm rocking with version 1. I think it's going to be a 2-1. And I'm rocking with Vanity all the way. He has been an impressive Astra. Can't wait to see him pop off this game.
All right. And Lothar, you're the decider here. Where are you going?
What you got?
For me, it's going to be a very close match. It's going to be a 2-1, but I feel like nuturn will take it. But it's not like, 80% nuturn, you know? I feel like 52%, you know, maybe for that team. It's going to be an exciting match.
We were right day one.
Close match. I expect a lot of stuff, you know, going back and forth. So I'm very excited to just watch it and see who's going to win it.
Well, look at that, folks. We got a split desk here with Twitter, as well as you amazing analysts here with me in the studio. But that's it, folks. The time for talk is done. Day 4 of Masters Reykjavik starts with a showdown between North America and Korea. You don't want to miss it, and it's starting right now.
Day 4, Valorant Masters Reykjavik. 2 EU powerhouses fighting for survival and a matchup between Korea and North America for the ages.
Hit you with the 808. But Riv, no, they don't have. Oh my gosh, they didn't have control, but it didn't matter. They lined up for Lakia, and he knocks them down. That's such a pivotal area of the map. And nuturn hold fast. A 3K for Suggest.
I think Korea play a Valorant that is not seen anywhere else in their world. We like to play in people's face just as much as they do. I think it'll be a great matchup.
비주류 게임이다 보니까 또 저희가 약체라는 평가를 항상 받는 거라서 네, 그래서 좀 발로란트에서는 좀 좋은 모습을 보여드려서 네, 정통 FPS도 잘한다라는 걸 꼭 보여드리고 싶었어요. 네.
I think this was a very impressive performance from Crew.
Vamos a intentar adaptar a lo que juegan ellos y a meter nuestro granito de arena de decir, bueno, así jugamos nosotros y le vamos a dar para adelante, a intentar chocarle todo lo que podamos y ganarlas y sacar la serie adelante.
We are definitely not underestimating them. We're expecting it to be tough, obviously.
NA versus EU showdown saw the North American region go a full 2-0, pushing Team Liquid and Fnatic to the lower bracket.
We're in the lower bracket, and I love a lower bracket grind.
ไม่รู้สึกกลัวเพราะว่าเรา
We're going to be a winning team. We're going to be a champion team.
เราก็ต้องทำให้เต็มที่ครับยังไงก็ทุกคนในทีมผมรู้ว่าเต็มที่อยู่แล้วไม่ว่าผลจะเป็นยังไงเราก็เล็งแชมป์เอาไว้ครับ
Ooh, baby, I can feel it in my bones, all hot and bothered. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Masters Reykjavik. My name is Doug, and alongside me is the one and only Rivington Bruce Bislin III. It's day 4. 8 teams will enter, and 2 teams will go home. And as the desk so eloquently put, we're going to be kicking this off with a banger of an upper bracket showdown between Korea's nuturn and North America's version 1. Riv, baby, how you feeling right now?
I am feeling so good. Honestly, how can you not be hype after those intros? What you know coming into the day, everything is building. And now North America versus Korea is coming to a head here in our first semis. So I am, or in one of our first matches here of the day, I'm so excited to see this match because you have this Cinderella story, Doug, of version 1. Coming all the way from challengers, a few switches with player 1 going out, Whippy's coming in. They qualify through the lower bracket run, NB, Cloud9, 100th, the F, whatever they needed to do. And they're still writing it here in the making versus the Kingslayers of nuturn. The only team in Korea that consistently is able to beat Vision Striker is a team expected to be here. And now they match up today. And that sub is still in the roster, Doug, for version 1, which has really taken a lot of people by surprise. It took me by surprise, and they're showing the world right now they belong on this stage, and nuturn is doing the same. This is going to be one hell of a matchup.
I absolutely agree with you, Riv, and I think it's easy to look at this series and go, well, you know, maybe you're leaning towards V1, especially when you consider nuturn's, performance on Haven in their first series. But after you go back and you look at the film and you kind of ask yourself objectively, okay, what went wrong against Sharks on Haven? Yeah. There really was a lot that just like didn't crumble their way. You take a look at the half and the game calling was great in my opinion. I think they were playing the fundamentals. I think they were doing things very well. So obviously they adjusted in map 2 and map 3 and they really kind of embodied what we expect out of nuturn, but there's almost like this lulled sense of, well, we saw them struggle against Sharks, so they may not be very good. Ladies and gents, let's not get that twisted. All right, nuturn's the real deal, and I think this series is going to be an excellent matchup.
That man right there, Lakia knows. He knows. They're so hyped. Both of them are so pumped to be in this game. They realize what both teams bring to the table. And honestly, looking at the composition, what they've been playing, what the bans and vetoes coming through mean for each team, Icebox is not a map you're going to see nuturn wanting to play. Bind, I believe, hasn't been played by version 1 more than 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, they avoid that
dates. So they avoid that thing like the plague. So now comfort maps coming in. We did hear Solo for nuturn talking about how Haven felt a little weird. It is one of their favorite maps, which is great to hear. It's in the mix. It's our first one. Nuturn's on attack, and their attack side is a decent one with their defense being a little bit lower. So it's good they start there. But seeing them now come into this, comfortable and confident that it could be one they get a win on, I'm excited because both of these teams play a bit of a long round. You have Vanity, as I lost my place, Vanity doing everything he can to grab info, with on the other side Solo doing the same thing, and the rounds continue to mill about. You'll have a lot of utility usage. The Viper walls from version 1 is something you have to watch because that's in the hands of Jammies now. And that is something he is left alone to do, which I think is great with how version 1 put him into the team, because they're saying he's not aggressive. He's not one to kind of take things into his own control, but he will be able to hold that position and provide anchor information to the team to rotate around the map. We'll be keeping an eye on that for version 1. nuturn, we're playing aggressive. We'll see what they continue to do with that. Solo showing the love here, and I think version 1 are going to have to be afraid of how strong that Korean pride is, wanting to win, knowing they should win, and having such a strong mental throughout a long series.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm looking at, Riv, is when we think about these two teams and specifically what the play style that they had in order to get here, I think it's been very well documented that version 1 excelled and really kind of set the pace for how to play the post plants, right? Like, they constantly had shock dart lineups, they had snake bite lineups, they had all of this utility that really made it impossible to get through them. You either have to deal with the utility or to fight to them, and it's just so difficult to handle. So one of the things I want to take a look at here as we prep to get into the series is how does nuturn play around that, right? Like, surely they were watching the film, surely they know what to expect, and the thing is, with a play style like that, it doesn't matter if you know what's coming or not, right? Like, you can know that the shock dart's coming, you can know that the snake bite's coming on a post-plant scenario, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with.
So, again, things to look out for. Solo was a monster in their first series. You got to keep watching for him. Him and Perry being teammates, a lot of good composition and synergy work together there. Lakia on the Sova. This is for nuturn. Things you have to watch out for. This as well on Haven. They're going to be the ones coming into sites later, using their util to catch up, and you'll see how version 1 and nuturn kind of formulate that as we get into the game. I said for the side of version 1, Jammies is playing a lot bigger of a role than I expected as a sub. Being left out as an anchor, holding positions, the team moves around, absorbs utility, and then moves forward. The fundamentals are there. It gets very interesting in the middle of the round is how all of that secondary utility is used, how the retakes are done, and really what are going to be the agent compositions here for our Prime Gaming agent select. Jammies on the Viper, and we have noticed nuturn do not play the Viper. It's one of the things that really has seemed to separate a few teams here, and being able to stall out, create their own situation, their own environment with the toxic screen as they go in. So we'll see if that affects them at all. Seeing the Sova on both sides is great, because when we have not seen teams with a Sova recently in this tournament, their retakes just seem so chaotic. You can't ping past walls. You can't dart past smokes. And it seems like there's really a lack of control on getting back in, or I should say initiation as an initiator.
No, I agree. I think you certainly feel lackluster, so it's good to see those two. I think across the board, this also bodes well. And again, I'm keeping a close eye on nuturn because of how Haven went the last time we saw this on this map. They have not made any adjustments as far as composition goes. Now the play style might be a bit different, but so far they're sticking to their guns. They're starting off on the attack, and it looks like early on this is going to be a bit of like a feel things out default. You've got the Astra Stars already holding down a long to deny any information potentially gathered by FEs on the peak. This is a good setup early on.
And we have to make sure to mention, now they're on their agents, you can kind of get a track of them. Penny on Jet, watch out for it. Allow on the Jet on the other side. That's for version 1 and nuturn respectively as we start off. So the wall here coming in from version 1 basically denies a fast A, or at least an A that nuturn has to think about as they would run through the toxic screen. And no real aggression here to start coming in from V1. They're happy to stay, set down some stars, and we do see the Astra on both sides as Perry starts laying some out towards garage.
I do think it's good to see Penny take some of this space away on a short and get a bit more of aggressive positioning, right? Like, this area of the map is so heavily contested, and it's because of that, right? Like, you get so much control if you can exploit that area. Penny already swings out, deals the first blood of the series. Oh, and Vanity's on the flank as well. They've taken the middle of the space. nuturn, they're trapped right now. They're going to have to fight their way through the defenses of V1.
Beautiful job by Vanity. They've been able to separate the map a little bit with the way they played the Killjoy turret, which allowed them to play back, allowed them to play these hard corners. Zelsis now picks one up, and they're just picking apart nuturn ever so slowly.
30 seconds left.
So the spike is down in A short. They have to slowly, you see it, you see Allow like slowly working his way around because they don't know how far up Vanity's gone. As we can see, Vanity has retreated back. But again, like, because of the way the early round played out, they really have nowhere else to go. They have to commit today. And V1's not giving them an inch. Perry looking to take some of it. However, he's going to get dropped at the hands of Zelsis. V1 win the pistol.
Opening shots of confidence coming in from version 1 as nuturn was looking to read the map, feel it out, see a few pitches coming in from version 1, and the first one was a laser shot from Penny. He picks up 2 on the round, an extra 400 in the pocket for him and Zelsis, as now we head into round 2. We will see Spectres now coming out of nuturn. The wall is switched up, so they basically cut off A this time. This may give Penny a little bit more of a push. You see the turret being placed on the left side of B here. This allows Zelsis to actually play between 2 sites. Awesome distance and use of the utility there.
So that's such a good counter to that Viper's wall. When that wall goes up, there's no information of what's happening in a short. You have to respect the possibility that somebody on the side of V1 has already pushed their way aggressively through that, right? But right off the bat, Lakia drops the recon dart right past that to expose where Penny might have been going. He had to wait it out before working his way forward, but it seems like nuturn feels comfortable working their way in anyway.
Lakia towards the back. He is watching on their flank right now. Possibly waiting for that sonar bolt to come up to fire it over. You can see him setting up. Spikes got dropped, but Jammy's already pushing before they can get the strategy into position. Lakia with 2 beautiful shots.
You can see V1 went hunting, trying to look for the remaining members of nuturn, and they may have bit off a bit more than they could chew as things drop down to a 3v2 in favor of nuturn. Now the spike is not on the site. They do have some time to flip it if they want to. Zelsis equalizing things at 2 apiece. But yeah, Riv, look at it. nuturn hightailing it out of there. They're going elsewhere.
That was actually a smart buy version 1. If you look at it, and they played the time based on when they may have seen the first sonar bolt coming out. You say a setup would be happening now. It's been about 30 seconds. Peek out, and you catch them waiting to shoot one over A. Now over towards C. That's just going to be Solo doing what he can. $300 is what they want to get as Zelsis finds Lakia, and he's going to go straight for that plant, drive it into the ground, and hope for the best. Great for that plant, drive it into the ground, and hope for the best.
Well, you can hope, but there wasn't a whole lot of best there. I think in that 1v2 situation, the nice thing for V1 there is even though they were heavily invested from a personnel perspective on the A side of the map, they had a ton of utility, right? All of Zelsis' utility was on C, and you saw that as soon as Solo came out. Both nano swarms were activated to delay that plan, and then Vanity showed up with a bit of CC of his own. So I gotta say, like, that right there is why you can't sleep on nuturn. It's because of plays like that don't go their way. And even this play, right? If not by timing, Lakia has a chance at Zelsis, and the round easily goes the other way. So you're feeling that this map already is just like being decided by split-second moments that can change the outcome of what's going on.
Absolutely. And we see version 1 being able to pull that out and do damage. I'm sorry, nuturn do damage to version 1, so the buys may become a bit more tough. Suggest able to do it again. The Ion Sheriff headshots, they're almost free, I tell you. And they're going to back out. A nice grab. They have a Phantom. They can now start to move around. That was dropped to Lakia, so the priority on how they need to move this now starts to come in division. And they're still waiting. The same wall we saw on round 1 from the toxic screen, placed up around B towards A, slowing things down if they need to on an initial rush. Version 1 still looking to creep up. I think Suggest has then seen that there was he would have heard that alarm bot placed in, so they know a bit of Killjoy positioning. They haven't identified B, so I wonder if the turret is known to be there, stopping them a little bit. And it's going to be the A strat once again. They creep up as close as they can get. They feel like not having too many weapons dug. They got to get as close as possible and close the gap to get these frags. Effie's close, and so is Penny. We'll see if they can make it out of this one as the chaos ensues.
30 seconds left.
Oh, this will be noise. They decide not to drop it.
The dart, the flash, the cloud burst, the dash as they work their way onto the side, and so far Lau has gotten through entirely unscathed, but unfortunately for nuturn, Suggest and Perry are not nearly as fortunate as the wall comes down. Effie's is greeted with a handful of folks on the side of nuturn. Hello! He's able to get a couple, but Lau looking to trade things back. He's gotten two. Zelsis getting that back himself as he gets onto it solo with the flash, not able to make anything happen out of that. This is big from a financial perspective. Riv, they win the pistol, they win the following round, and then, even with the damage that nuturn did to their bonus for V1 to win this is big.
Absolutely. Playing the bits of time there, spikes being planted. You know there's going to be one less person shooting, most likely with how much time they had to put the spike down. So version 1 working it methodical, even though they seem to be run around the map here, and nuturn's doing a great job about that. They are finding that they're having a priority in numbers once they get to a site, so nuturn is learning what the movement, what the pressure of version 1 is. Ever so slightly, you want to find the precedent that your opponent is setting, and version 1 should be able to have found a few of those movements, where they'll be, how many are at a site. But now in our first gun round, we'll see if all that homework pays off that they've done for these first three.
Different look from V1 already. Look at the aggression down C long, right? It wasn't a flash, it wasn't dash, it wasn't noisy, but it wasn't expected, at least you would think, because they hadn't done it. But Lau holds fast, is able to stop the aggression. Penny with the op. We saw how devastating he can be with this weapon. Not able to land anything yet. You see him reposition. He's gonna get a chance, and yeah, baby, he delivers. Blade Storm out as Penny tries to stay alive, using the counter from the Cloudburst to keep him alive. That's insane.
And again, nuturn, overwhelm. It's how they're able to get in. The first one, obviously, Lau. He's just saying you're not allowed to do that. You can't push. And it was a great read. If we remember what really came to fruition on nuturn was that at the beginning of the game, a lot of pushing happened towards them. They were pushed back by Sharks, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to look for this next time. We're going to make sure nobody can get on our flank, because they aren't looking to work with that Cypher on the side. They're keeping everything that they have with them for these attacks.
Here as we enter round 5, no presence towards A this time on the side of nuturn, as they're actually looking to exploit the middle of the map. Let's see what they can find.
Some deep stars here to kind of play with the minds of version 1. Oh, that's a showstopper coming straight in. Actually, just shot to the left, a blind fire on the showstopper here, and that's going to be great for version 1 on the frenzy round with 2 Vandals.
Yeah, getting that ultimate offline with really no value. I mean, yeah, I guess the one thing you know is that there's nobody playing that tight 50, but certainly not what you're looking for when you invest in an ultimate like that. So they cut noise. They look to reset things a little bit and see what they can find towards C. They're still postured heavy that way. You still see a couple of pings on the mini-map. The nice thing for V1 is that if they do push into that, they do have Zelsis' lockdown, and that's a big pick, with the Frenzy no less on the Suggest.
Wow, traded back quickly by Perry. Nice little retribution kill there as they head in. And they don't even know he's there. Lau just can't find the targets, and V1 attacks back with 3 fast. Perry looking to do what he can.
1v3. They did draw out the Hunter's Fury, and he managed to get away from that unscathed. He's got to get a shot onto Penny, but no. Penny continues to impress. The young cracked out SAR on the side of V1 secures the round for the boys on defense.
It's just version 1. If they do go down, we see the next round they just info deny until they say, all right, peek now. There's been enough time. You know, you're kind of predicting a lull in your opponent's senses where they would be rotating. You catch them in that rotation. Just to dodge the showstopper, come up with the frenzy, especially on the rounds where you're going up against full guns. Version 1's got to be feeling great right now.
Gotta be feeling very good. We're gonna see a very similar look that we saw a couple of rounds ago. The Viper's wall cutting off information around A short. You see it go up, and this time you see Jammies and Penny have taken the space aggressively, and they double down on that by dropping the Viper's pit. This is a this is a tough situation for nuturn because they have to decide, are we gonna fight into it or not? Jammies off the board already, that's big.
What a read on the triple ults here coming from nuturn. They wanted to get in. That's going to be Bladestorm. That's going to be Rolling Thunder as they get into A, but it's all slowed down, and they lose Jammies. So a ruffle of the feathers to start. nuturn handles it perfectly, and they still have those ultimates to use as they come in. We did see Hunter's Fury come out there, and now it's going to be another trade. They still set up. They still want to go through with it. They feel good, Doug. Here it goes.
Rolling Thunder leading the way as Lakia follows shortly thereafter, and Effie's drops. Penny looking to trade things out. There's the lockdown that we were expecting out of Zelsis to try to equalize things. They respect it, but Penny's on the read! Penny's on the read! He's cut him off! They're stuck, Riv! There's no way for them to work their way out. Penny good for 1, Penny good for 2. Make that 3 on the round. Full control for V1.
Just when you think you're getting out, a Penny for your thoughts on the flank, and it is a rough one. Looking at how the Hunter's Furies were used there, with the ultimate there being down for the lockdown, I should say, I was just super impressed with how they got them out early, but it still comes down to the fact that Perry has to make it work again. Always on the flank. We saw this last round. He's trying to make things work from across the map with the smokes, but still be present for the late game situation here in each round. I should say late round situation. And it's just going to time out on this one. Perry keeps himself alive, keeps the Phantom in his hands. That might go to Suggest or Lakia here as we get into our next round. But version 1, feeling good, reacting well to these as nuturn continues to put up strats.
Dude, I have been floored, to be honest with you, by how well version 1 have read this map, right? Like, there have been a couple of times now where we've seen them position themselves in such a way that they're just a step ahead of nuturn from a macro perspective. Even like having him trap them in to the lockdown, not giving them an easy escape is huge. Slight adjustment that we see here out of the Viper's wall from Jammies. You hear the gravity well has been used early on. Short control has been taken away, and that's the narrative that we're going to continue to see throughout really the entire map.
We'll have to keep an eye on if nuturn continue to watch that flank past the early game. Allow picked up 2 big frags at Long C just a few ago for nuturn, watching version 1 push, reading version 1 a bit. Version 1 then sets back to a different default strategy on their defensive side, and it's like an info denial. nuturn can't figure out what kind of util they can get out or not. Here on another save round, they're going to throw their numbers towards A, but the spike is towards B. They're looking for that $300 if they can get it. I should say credits, 300 credits.
Yeah, this may be a bit of a, make some noise, see what kills you can get, which so far have been none. Harry did have the only rifle on the side of nuturn, but the nice thing is that is going to draw some attention away from C, which is where Solo is just very quietly going to waltz his way up. But you've got to remember here, they don't really have weaponry, and Solo's alone. Zelsis once again is on the read with Jammies. I'm telling you, Riv, they're a step ahead every time.
I was going to say V1 does not usually rotate out of their sight until the spike is being planted. So big credit to nuturn there for making them bite, because nuturn has been going to every site. They say, let's switch it up this time. We're on the eco. We kind of need to even stretch ourselves thin to make that work. Version 1 in the middle of the round say, wait a minute. This is different. They come right back. Then Solo can't even plant there. And they were a moment from having it, right? But V1 flipped the switch, and they were like, no. Here we go. So round 8, 6-1. Version 1 here on defense shutting down nuturn's attack.
In flawless fashion as well. It seems like they've picked up right where they left off, but this time it's unfortunately against them. I think they set the record the last time we saw them on the big stage for most flawless rounds probably ever in the history of everything. But again, this time receiving it from V1. So now they're going to have better weapons. Now they're going to have rifles. Similar Viper wall that we saw from Jammies, controlling that A short area, and a ton of utility across B here, Riv.
Doug, look at this wall as well from Jammies. They're giving them less and less as the map goes on. The next time nuturn gets guns, well, you're going to have to really work for the right side of the map. They say, well, we're going left. Zelsis eats a bit of a nade there, and we'll see how they can control C. Full retake in position right now if it is a C play here. nuturn's going to have it to themselves. How can they post-plant this?
Oh, and Zelsis already dropping early on certainly doesn't help. They've gotten onto the site. Solo's going to get the spike down. And he
planted.
has a Blade Storm in tow and is working around, but you see the slow burn from Vanity and the slow burn from Jamie. He's still working his way out of the eastern side of the map. The good thing for version 1 here is that they're going to be approaching the retake from multiple fronts, but nuturn are so well positioned right now, right? They also still have the Cosmic Divide out of parry that they can invest should they choose to do so.
Here we go. You got Jammies coming down on the bottom. Sonar Bolt going through now that he's there, and they're working as a team with 3 to come up, but allow.
Last player standing.
Effie's on the tap. The snake bite to buy some space. Solo good for 1 anyway, but he didn't have enough health. He had to take it. Is he going to get the defuse, Riv?
It is over.
Oh,
Found it.
full clench. Full clench.
And honestly, that Viper Bite from Jammies on the stage is the sub. Very, very quick thinking to understand what happened within the site take where the last person could have escaped to. And that absolutely helped clutch that round. Been very impressed with Jammies here on version 1. And that is going to be a quick pickup. Ladies and gentlemen, the Effie's mating call.
That was excellent display of one power. You got to give it to him.
That was some diaphragm usage.
It was. A little dash early on. Jammies once again reads it like a book as we see that even if nuturn try to push in towards A, like V1 they have it locked down. They haven't found very much success on that side of the map at all. And much like we've seen previous times, whenever they show that way, Vanity takes the middle of the map. Look at where he is on your mini-map right now. He's about to walk into the defender spawn. He's got the Viper's wall to conceal his advancements, and he's got the chance to catch parry. Yep, and that's just too easy, Riv. It's too easy. He was in astral form. He had the spike. He dropped. Suggest is left alone in a 1v4. Things continue to go sideways for nuturn.
Whoa, Vanity tries to get the movement shot there. Suggest quickly tucks and fires. He's going to be good for that. And this is going to be a tough one. Suggest definitely has some of the best aim on the team. It's quiet, but when he pops off, it is a loud statement. Firing forward, trying to catch that drone off guard, but they're still too distance from the play.
Now he's got, okay. I was going to say, he's got the showstopper. If things get real close, he might whip something up. But no, an excellent stop from Effie's there, as you said, with the shock dart to win the round. Again, secure it for V1, and I think Haven, while there were questions, right? Like, I was the first to say it, right? Like, nuturn were calling a good map against Sharks on Haven, and things just kind of didn't go their way. I think now we're seeing them really get exposed on both sides of the proverbial ball. Defensively, they didn't look good against Sharks. On attack, they certainly don't look good against V1, and nuturn just seem at a loss on this map.
We'll see. It is going to be a tactical timeout coming in from nuturn. Nothing they're doing seems to work. And one of the amazing things is it seems like there are rounds when V1 knows to info deny and rounds when Vanity knows that he freely has window. Just based off a few things that are going down. The shot calling we're seeing from Vanity here is absolutely amazing throughout the tournament so far. And it's no wonder the Cinderella story here, from challengers to team rosters switches to subs, albeit one at a time, that version 1 is definitely a team meant to be here on the world stage. And wowing people or not, they have worked for this and they're showing.
Now, Riv, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot. At what point do version 1 go from Cinderella that kind of goes back to Pumpkin and drags at the end of the night? When do they go from that to full-on bell of the ball at every single time, right? Like, what more is left for them to do to shift the narrative in people's minds that they're not just underdogs and that they maybe don't deserve to be here and that they're legit?
Honestly, I think they've done it. But it's carrying that current story in we're following their choose your own adventure to see how they end it. Because honestly, it could be written here and you'd be like, holy damn, that was a really good book. Version 1 was a great book, and I can't wait to read the next one. But that's not what they have in mind, right? It's not Season 8 yet. So we'll see what they got here. Round 10, they're going in, and we'll see what they have towards A. Allow goes down almost immediately on the round. That's going to be an operator in Penny's hand for this round.
Dude, Penny hit that after the Viper's Pit was going up. down C long with no information. There was no dart. There was no nothing to reveal the position. That must have been like a, give the dude a haircut, just saw like a pixel onto that shot. I hate that we missed that. Hopefully we'll be able to get that on the replay to see if that was as gross as it seemed in my mind, because that was just filthy. So to recap, V1 have taken complete control of C. They've got the Viper's Pit. There's no easy entrance there. What I do like about nuturn here is that they're feeling things out in the middle of the map. They're about to find out that it should be pretty safe, but Vanity, Vanity! Lakia gives him the business left, right, good night. He drops, and that should give him entry onto A, except for Penny is on the flank. The flash is not going to land. The patience, of Bladestorm's not going to land. He's going to have to go in aggressive. Push things back. The spike has not moved, Riv.
4v3, Effie's looks like he's hanging out in sight, but they do have the Hunter's Fury
left.
if they want to get it. That Viper's Pit has been dropped as Jammy starts to twirl around. I was going to say Perry is making some good moves, but they are privy to what's going down. Solo now being seen. 25 HP with the overkill from the operator's shot to the chest. And now it's just going to be up to Suggest. And a beautiful shot on that. Another 3v1. And another V1 victory.
Dude, I'm getting like Monty Python and the Holy Grail type, like none shall pass vibes, because for nuturn, they're feeling things out, right? It's not like, oh my god, Penny, you're so bad. Like it's not like they're running their head into a wall on one specific site and they're just trying to brute force their way in and they're just getting stuffed. They're feeling out different areas of the map, right? Like they're calling fakes, they're calling rotations. They're doing all the right things. They just can't find a way in.
I guess this is really a time as well when we get to see, you know, what nuturn is made of. And that's not to say 9-1. It's always strong mentality coming out of Korean teams. They weather the storm, they find a way back, they know it's never over. Is right now version 1 seems to have them in a bit of chaos mode where nuturn can't do their own strats. They're kind of playing to version 1's game, and that means you're always a step behind what you as nuturn want to be doing. So again, they wait. Zelsis pushes, they find a frag, and this is where nuturn may start to grab a little bit of momentum. 2 down now on the side of version 1 is nuturn adapt.
You really have to here. Oh gosh, and the spike's down too.
Playing the toxic spot
now. Hey, he doesn't have any backup. Yeah, so if he drops, they're going to be able to regain control. They're going to know that A's open. Nobody else was pushing up, but even with that in mind, they're going to pull back off. But Vanity again. Oh no, Vanity gets a couple shots right into the back of the head. Courtesy of Perry. Effie's on the cut. Effie's good for 2. The spike goes down again, and it's Effie's. In a 1v2, he's already taking care of 2 of them. Looking for the third, not able to land it. Perry gets the kill. nuturn get another round.
Last round before the switch.
Slowly making their way with a few more points back in, giving themselves that cushion for the next half. Looking at what we have for nuturn here, as we said, 59% attack win rate, 50% defensive win rate. So getting the rounds on attack were almost necessary here, as a version 1's gonna have momentum, they're gonna feel good, and nuturn may be back to that position where Solo in his interview said, we felt nervous, you know? Haven's one of our favorite maps. So it seems like they're just kind of being locked into this position. Here, they have 5 ultimates up. They're dealing with that same wall that version 1 has been putting up. And let's see how they use their util on the side of nuturn here.
Showstopper online. Suggests playing it a bit more slowly, and now is going to dash his way forward. I mean, scene of the crime from last time.
No guarantees.
The same output. No, it's a meat grinder of nuturn. As nuturn have already lost 2. Penny with the op holding down that tight angle. A garage, she's a shoulder, not going to land, and Suggest punishes it. The Cosmic Divide's going to come out. Zelsis quietly playing in the back corner, has not been spotted. The alarm bot helps, but Zelsis lands the kill, looking for a second. Not able to do it, as Suggest seems to be on a one-man mission to get nuturn back into this thing, and that was heck of a way forward.
And then they win that. Douglas, like hardly any information grabbed, and you use one of the most impactful ults, blind again, but then they outshoot the round. But at that moment, that almost feels like, all right, we're out of options. Do this. And that becomes a little scary there for nuturn. But it made Suggest feel comfortable. You can't complain after a round like that. And there it is. nuturn coming alive a little bit here, Doug. They have a lot of work to do, but that is good to see from the Korean squad.
Yeah, a little bit of fire lit under them as they get us to a 9-3 half version 1. Now going to test their mettle on the attacking side of the map. The Viper's wall goes up to block off A, and they're actually going to full send B. There's nobody there, Riv. They don't even they have no utility there. They're going to get him for free.
Nade's a little too deep out. Fault line won't do too much, so it actually stops Penny down as he gets one, though, and the Frenzies are pushing forward, Doug.
Absolute chaos. You got to keep an eye. Yes, that was it, right? Like, that is vintage version 1.
Oh,
look at the lineups. Jammies was playing back on the site from downtown, denying any sort of way in. And then Celsius, the 1-2 combo right into the back of the head, drops Lakia, picks up another weapon, and then you see the shock dart, too. It's not just the snake bite. There's really no way in. Allows gonna have to get through all of the utility that exists, and then the remaining members of V1 just to get a chance at this thing. There's no need. Celsius good for 3. That right there is V1 just like putting on full display how good they are on the attacking half.
That is V1. Watch that round over and over again. Forward aggression, post plant, still have a flank, still have post plant, lineups from downtown, and more lineups that you cannot, especially on a pistol round, shoot Sova through that wall. You don't see him, you know, and if you do, you're only gonna tag him for a bit of damage. So there's so many things they easily capitalize there, and we saw a picture perfect round from them.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did indeed. What do nuturn do in response? No force up. Suggest is the only one with a little extra, a little something packing. As it looks like they have a decent read on what's happening here towards C. They've stacked 3 this way. The Ultra going into the pockets of Penny, getting 1 step closer to the Blade Storm. And, I mean, like puppets. Riv, look at that. They just showed a little bit down C long. And mind you, nuturn don't have much to fight with, so they're almost forced into this situation where they have to show off of the first thing they see, but they have fully stacked C here.
Look at the info Vanity's trying to get here. He runs up, activates his own smoke so he can instantly hide on it, trying to just get shots out. Now, nothing really came of it. nuturn's playing this super smart by holding util, info denying themselves. I think we might have heard a shorty go off, and that's not going to give you too much. So we see in the eyes of Vanity what they're trying, and it looks like they're going to go for what is a B once again with all 3 util smokes placed around it.
Effie still has a shock dart as well. But how much of a lineup do you have when you're already dead, sitting on the site? Cold. Penny on the flank, good for 1. But if it's not Effie's, it's Jamie's again. Man, the exact same setup. It was slightly delayed, but the outcome's the same. V1 get to 11 as they dominate on the defensive half, and now they show they can do it on attack as well.
You know what seems absurd right now, especially on those rounds? If you win first round, I feel like the way version 1 plays it, or the way a team can play it, is you know you can spread a team slightly thin by waiting out the round. They're going to have to at least choose a site, and it's probably not going to be 1 at B. It's going to be more of a retake. So to be able to get in there, you will always have the 7 seconds to throw that down, right?
Yep.
And then be able to get out so your guys who are already on post-plant lineups can do it. They almost have guaranteed rounds there without having to use ultimates.
Oh, man.
Just the timing.
Gets his hand on the lockdown. Effie's gets the opener into the site. You see the nano swarms already coming out. Now, keep an eye. Again, keep an eye on Jammies. He's playing back. You presume he's got a lineup here, but he might get called. Oh, Solo, no! Solo, the timing was bad. Jammies catches him sleeping. He gets around. They get the kill. They get the spike down on C as well, and now they have control. But they go right into the belly of the beast. Vanity not waiting for nuturn to take the fight to them. He's going in.
This wall gives them so much pressure. The first gun round, they go ham towards C on this. Toxic screen still up. Penny takes a bit of damage, but the positioning they have is great. You can see Suggest. Where's the flank? Which one's going to flank me first? Because that is the second part. I'd say second or third or 2A or 2B of nuturn's Vision 1's post plant, rather. But yeah, they get out safely. This is good for nuturn to hold some guns for themselves. Things are only getting harder and harder. And there's another one. That's 12 for version 1 here in your first map of the best of 3 series.
Match point.
An early match point as V1 again seemed to be in full control. And it's just been so impressive from version 1. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the series that I think nuturn have a much better map than we saw on Sharks, but man, I am entirely wrong. As we see nuturn call on another tactical timeout, and Riv, I know we're only 3 rounds in, about to play round 4 of the second half, but I mean, at this point, it almost seems like a foregone conclusion.
It does. The way that version 1 has been reading, honestly, you got to give them credit for this. The way they're reading on nuturn, playing around them, finding the... honestly, for the first few rounds, I think it was as well version 1 out shooting those instances, right? All those sheriff shots in the beginning to start capitalizing on bankrolls. And now you can't even chip away at that bank account for 2 or 3 rounds, 4 rounds. So knowing they had that up gave them confidence. They pushed a little bit more. The walls they have been putting up on defense from jammies were successfully encroaching more and more onto the attacking side, giving nuturn less room to even start with. And that just, it feels weird. You feel suffocated if you're nuturn when you're starting your strats, because you're saying, oh my God, they're just gonna push us. They're just gonna do this. Let's wait and turtle, which turtle again does not mean you're scared. You're reading the play and see what they're doing. And version 1 continue to find the success out of those plays, even if nuturn stays back in turtles, because they're holding. You know, nuturn will always have to come to you. But now on the other side, we'll see what nuturn can do on defenses. Version 1 has to come to them.
I will say the one like silver lining so far that we've seen from nuturn is that Suggest is on one today. He's like big boy on one. He's had multiple multi-kills. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we can pull up the stats, but I'm sure he's by and large fragging out for nuturn. I think Suggest has played really well, but otherwise it's just been a bit left
the guy has a
wanting.
33% headshot out of Korea. I know Scream is 36-ish at the highest, so like quiet. Like I said, you know, you think of Allow, you think of Lakia, but Suggest is quietly one of the best players on this team.
Oh, dude. So they showed this exact look against Sharks. It was the breach flash, it was the Allow dash down C long, and it was met with, I mean, I think they got a little bit more out of it when they tried it against Sharks, but V1 wisely waiting it out. They don't push in aggressively. They don't get caught with the flash. They just wait it out, and then they respond in kind. Now they're pushing it a bit more aggressively. Vanity playing in his smoke just on the other side with the judge. Oh, no! Vanity swings, drops parry like a bag of rocks as V1 continue to creep their way onto C. Zelsis leading the way. Oh, Solo! Solo's got a judge of his own. If it's not him, it's Lakia. As Solo with 2 shells left, no, he's gonna get dropped. Lakia looking for a bit of action as well, as he and Suggest are the last ones that remain. Suggest has to wait out the lockdown. That's gonna give Zelsis a bit of breathing room. And now Suggest with the Vandal in a 1v2. As the spike continues to tick away, there was a bit of a snake bite there to delay his entry, but no, that should be enough info on where he's coming from. The alarm bot is going to come out as well. But even then, you see Jamies has played off. He's playing off site because of all the utility that he has. Suggest is going to have to tank through this. There's the snake bite as well. I love the use of the room, but to try to flush Jamies out. There he is, Suggest trying to land the shots, and no, Jamies does it again. V1 13-3 from top to bottom. Even when things look good for nuturn, they take care of business.
What a game for version 1. Vibing throughout the entire thing from start to finish. The few rounds they lost, they were able to recuperate, and the bleeding was never that bad. nuturn again, feeling a bit shaky on Haven. Honestly, yeah, you're 1 map down, but I don't think that affects them too much. They came in here knowing Haven might be one of those maps. We have Ascent next, one of the better maps for nuturn as well. Haven is one of their favorites, but seems just, again, be shaky at this tournament for nuturn. And their strats weren't coming to fruition, and mainly because version 1 continue to shut it down one by one or not allow nuturn into a site with their full squad.
Yeah, I think that last round, even this one that we're looking at right now, like, Suggest played that right? Like, understanding that he's going to have to play around that utility, the Vandal. I don't know that the Vandal gets that kill, by the way. But using that Phantom super well to control the spray, to land the shots. And what I was saying was, in my opinion, suggests played that as best as he could have, right? Invest the Roomba down C long to try to put Jamies in an uncomfortable situation. The tap was there, and it drew out the snake bite, forcing the utility of Jamies out to try to get past it because there was enough time, right? Like, there was still enough time on the spike for him to make a play. But then at the end of the day, the V1 sub shows up in a big way and lands the shots. I mean, V1 Riv, from top to bottom, they seem to do no wrong on this map.
They come out this strong each and every time, and they get to use a few of their strats. Their defensive setups with the Viper walls only change slightly, but they play each round much differently. I think that's one of the awesome things about V1 is that mind of vanity works in so many ways, even if you think you're looking at the same thing from top down. So I wonder what the opposing team has to be thinking when you're seeing the same wall, but always getting a different package. And that's got to be tough for nuturn.
There are just no cues, right? There's nothing to act off of. There's nothing to extrapolate from that. Folks, with this dominant as a performance as V1 had on map 1, we'll see if they can replicate the same on V2 or if nuturn are going to be able to punch back. We're going to cut to a quick break. Not a brick quick. A quick break, and when we return, map 2, don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone. Here it appears that nuturn took a turn for the worse. You see, as they ended up losing Haven by a dominating scoreline of 13-3 versus version 1. Let's roll some of those Prime Gaming highlights. And Lothar, man, there's a lot to talk about on this game because it wasn't just V1 playing well, but it was also some of the errors that we were seeing out of nuturn.
Yeah, first, I want to just point out V1 played as expected. They played really well. They were prepared already on the previous Haven. They played against Liquid. Everything was on point. Everyone was on point. They held their angles. They used the utility well. The post-plant lineups also worked. But what upset me, and I'm really mad at this, actually I thought nuturn was gonna be prepared, right? Because that was my expectations. But it seems like they played without a plan. Every single round of attack was the utility they used. It had no intent behind it. We had seen that from Suggest when he was using his showstopper to clear a corner against an eco. No one pushed after that, so it's literally just thrown away with no real purpose. We have seen people just holding angles without just caring about the position of the teammates. Lakia died twice while droning, so no one held his angle. Like, everything was falling apart. I felt like nuturn was playing like everyone was solo, and even when they won a round, it was on back of, like, an example, Suggest getting 3 kills or Lakia getting a double kill or something like that, and it was still made because someone just played solo without trading, without having good setups. I'm really upset with right now with nuturn, and I hope they're gonna fix it for Ascent.
Yeah, everything that you just said basically just +1 that from me. I was mauling the entire time watching this.
Tell us how you really feel.
I feel like
tell us how you really feel.
it's just deja vu. It's like, how did we do this again? Did we not learn after the first map against the Sharks? How are we coming into Haven and then still doing these just weird plays? How are we just relying on Suggest to click 5 people's heads? It's not, there's like no game plan. It's completely gone. I hope to God that this is going to be like, when they played versus Sharks, and that they can win the next 2 maps. But if they go in and they continue to look like they have no sense of strategy whatsoever on Ascent, then I'm just going to mold right out of this broadcast. Like, I might not be able to make it through the next 2 series.
You sound like me after game 1 between the Knicks and the Hawks, man. I was like, it was just molding off the face of the earth, Julius Randle, just shoot the ball. That's how you feel right now. You just want. Sure. You don't understand basketball thingies. But yeah, I mean, Veli, though, to kind of touch on that, there was one play in particular that was very much I wouldn't say it was like a deciding round, because every round was very strong from version 1. But you can clearly see what Lothar was talking about here, the lack of a plan in certain situations.
Yes, definitely. And actually, like, version 1, they played extremely well. This round in particular was really important to me for the fact that at the beginning of this round, nuturn, they actually had an advantage. They went to Garage and they were able to get a kill. I believe it was on Zelsis. What version 1 did, they spread around the map. They sent 2 people to the top. They had Vanity as Astra in middle, while Jammies rotated all the way towards the flank. The reason why that round was so important for nuturn to have a plan is the simple fact that Lakia was the most important person on that defense. When Lakia lost to Jammies on that flank, the pitch came in simultaneously. You had Vanity running right out of Garage, plus the 2 players up top to instantly crash in on the players.
Yeah.
Solo was the last man standing, and it just wasn't enough. But it wasn't just that, Golden Boy. The lack of a plan in general. We all remember, I believe it was round 6. Remember that showstopper in Garage? For no reason at all. There was no information, no anything. Yeah, right. And they won it. It was absolutely nuts, right? But the thing is, you have to have a plan for that. Why bust out a showstopper during an eco round? I mean, I get it because there were 2 rifles on the board, but you had no idea who was in Garage. Jammies was still able to get that kill. And, excuse me, it was Zelsis, I believe. And we just saw we saw a lack of info gathering for a region that I praise time and time again for their information play from Sova and Sky, mostly together. We expected more of that. I want to see that map too.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to add one more point. In general, I'm liking the compositions coming into this tournament, but it seems like non-NA and EU regions lack controllers, like a Viper, and this is a good example. nuturn didn't play a Killjoy, a Cypher, or a Viper, which seems like it's a crucial piece of of either both defense and attack. You know, on attack, Viper is great. On defense, she's great. Killjoy on attack is also pretty good. On securing something that happened in pistol round when we just had a push on pistol round by V1 without contestation, like at all. Imagine having a Killjoy on B, just securing that with nanosumes or something. So compositions is something that we should focus on when it comes to this event in general as well.
Yeah, well, something I'm going to be focusing on is the mating call that Rivington pointed out here from Effie's. Let's just, run this here. You can see an Effie's in his natural environment right after this game. There it is. There it is. And everyone in Iceland was turned and drawn to the attractiveness of Effie's right then and there. Well, guys, we're going to be jumping into this matchup. It is going to be on Ascent. And Achilleos, I'm just going to give you a minute here, just before we send it into the game. Do you feel like this is going to be a turnaround here for nuturn, no pun intended?
I gotta believe that it's possible. They showed it versus the Sharks. This is me just huffing my copium right now. I have to believe that they can make it happen again. Right now, they just look so very lost on Haven. I don't like what we're seeing from them. I don't like the compositions that we're seeing from them. It seems like Ascent is a map that they have much more figured out. That being said, this is still going to be tough. I said, coming into the day, like version 1, they really impressed me yesterday. Taking down TL, they look great. I wouldn't be shocked if nuturn can't make it happen, but I am hoping and praying that they can take this as map 3.
Yeah, well, folks, here we go. Baby. As the teams get closer to starting map 2, let's send it over to your casters. You got Doug and Rivington. And by the way, Doug, I almost wore that shirt today. Glad I didn't.
Thank you, GB. Yeah, believe it or not, folks, it may look like we coordinate this, but we don't. It's just a little bit of that Spanish salsa, baby, that fuego that keeps us in tune. Riv, map 1, fully dominant V1 performance. But well, much like Achilles was saying, and like you can kind of see the pain on his face. I hurt for him, but I think he's onto something, right? Like it's hard to ignore the adaptation that nuturn made from map 1 to map 2 against Sharks and not go, well, okay, we've seen they can do it. Yeah. Can you do it again as we hop into Agent Select, courtesy of our friends at Prime Gaming?
Well, we knew we were getting a clash today. That's why we clash. But we didn't expect it to clash that hard. We thought we might clash a little harder. So coming up, Prime Gaming Agent Select, like you said, we'll see what we have. As I look around the board, same composition for nuturn. They'll be on attack first, as they usually run here on Ascent. And we're looking at basically the same thing that you are getting out of version 1. Coming out of Challengers, version 1 did have a Phoenix in this composition. But you do get that swapped out now. You find that Viper in there instead. Jammies locks that down, and we'll see what they can do. Focusing on version 1 here as we get into game 2. They have 2 games ahead of them if they want to make this happen with nuturn, or version 1 taking the first map. Seeing our Viper wall set up here from the left. It's like Jammies will start it there. If he plays to the right or left side of the map, you will see Jammies kind of set that wall up as well from where Penny's standing right now and other times. But version 1 with the spike and a 2-3 split to start. nuturn, rather.
And we're seeing some of that. And I think another thing we need to keep an eye on is the Astra Star investment. Where do they place it? How do they play around it there? We saw Top Cat. Smoke went up. Drone was able to clear the middle of the map for free. And they were able to work their way in through that. Now, they are not investing in it from a personnel perspective, but I mean, look at Penny, dude. He most certainly is. Allows trying to hold down market because they've taken that away. But the problem is the rest of the team can't work their way in through Garage. The hit's going to have to go to A because they couldn't find any other entry.
If Allow can stay alive for even a little bit longer, the pressure he creates in this position is amazing. But they're going to be able to find him, take him down. Now they start heading to the site here. Zelsis.
Zelsis with the heroics. He does it again. The Burst Classic takes care of business. Vanity shows that anything Zelsis can do, Vanity might be able to do a bit better. He gets a kill of his own in the exact same fashion. Vanity gets the last. The defuse comes through for Zelsis. V1 win the pistol.
I like the play from nuturn, off the ball, send a few towards B, make him think there's a play over there, find some utility, and then you kind of hard hit A site thinking you might have power in numbers. The start here from what Allow did in middle If the rest of the team was then set up to instantly execute, that would have been awesome for them. But version 1 just seems to continuously read these mid-round plays super fast.
They do. It looks like we may... No, it looks like Jamie's is lining up. Okay, for the exact same wall. So same utility invested. I think another place that we want to keep... Well, there is some of that utility there, but it looks like this time, actually, they're heavily leaning towards B. The drone is going to clear out the middle. Zelsis swings out and is able to punish Suggest early on. Allow following the drone to clear the middle of the map. Yeah, the door's going to go down, but at least they have that space, much like they did in the previous round.
All right, so let's see what they do this time, right? They know they can take that space. It felt comfortable for the last round. We know Nuturn's going to buy, so they'll be able to pressure a little bit more, not just having an eco round here. And now Allow can hang out. So does version 1 info deny there and say, okay, we know you're there, right? Sometimes nothing has to happen. It's the pressure nuturn is trying to create. Nice little drone in here by Effies to figure out what's going on. Is everybody's just patiently waiting on version 1 for the nuturn play. And you have Perry all by his lonesome hanging out in wine right now to see if there's any push out, anything version 1 wants to get an info.
You see nuturn slowly working their way towards middle, because in the previous round, as we saw, Penny had wrapped his way around through mid and was behind Allow, and Allow got the kill. But you can see them adjusting towards that, expecting that aggression from Penny. This time they get through the middle of the map unscathed, and much different from the previous round. They're not going to be funneling in from the same way. As you mentioned, they have Perry and Wine. They're going to work their way in through Tree onto A, and it looks like for now Vanity's going to be the first line of defense. And what else but the classic, the Judge, man. Vanity and the Judge, name a better duo. Lakia looking to get the spike down, but with 11 seconds left, they're going to have to go. Allow control the middle of the map. Jamies punishes him, but the spike goes down.
A few things that shouldn't be happening here for nuturn, like those frags going down, could allow now version 1 to come in with the better numbers. Flank from Jammies is going to happen. Dart goes in, that's underneath, and shot out. They have an idea where 1 is, Doug. This could be a tough post-plant hold.
Yeah, and then the snake bite was there as well. Perry alone with the frenzy. Spotted a little bit of something, but wasn't able to deliver. So V1, they follow, they hold serve. We see what we expect out of them so far. Nuturn have managed to, the last couple of rounds, right, like they'll show a little. I think we need to keep an eye on that stuff, right? What is Nuturn doing? They'll show a little B, they'll exploit the middle of the map, but that's now 2 rounds in a row where they end up back at A, and while it was a slightly different variation of what we saw in round 1, the outcome was the same.
They're playing the numbers game. The lower the clock goes, the better chance you have at having bringing more numbers to a site than the defenders have. That's what Nuturn's doing. The clock goes down, you know the defense has rotated out. Chances are you're not going to meet more numbers there, just the way the defense pans out. But that's what they're doing. That's where they feel most comfortable, because right now the aim isn't on. We saw that from last map. It's a little bit shaky possibly, and Nuturn's trying to get themselves into the most comfortable position before making something happen, and nobody on version 1 is going to let them get comfortable here on a save rounds.
Dude, we can do an analyst segment on that play alone, but we're going to run out of time as Penny took the middle of the map, but solo Sheriff punishes it. I want to take a quick moment. We saw Perry work across with the fake smoke, right? And like that's a space that it buys. It allows you to pass it and leave the question mark on the other team around, okay, did somebody work their way through that or not? But Vanity read it like a book. He knew exactly where Perry was going to be to land that kill, and that's big. That said, V1 still have the numbers advantage, although there were a couple of trades.
Doug, Nuturn is right there on reading version 1, but it's always a step behind. It's Allow following Zelsis. He feels like he knows he's there. V1's always pushing, and they call it right this time. A Spectre pickup now for Suggest. They have 30 seconds left in the round. They're going to have to force it through Tree.
No concern of Killjoy utility as Zelsis is sitting on the sideline for the rest of the round, but the gravity well leaves them sitting. It's so hard to work your way through that, and it's open season on members of Nuturn. You try to walk your way in through there, you're stuck and you get mowed down.
The verdict has been laid down by Vanity as he judges Nuturn around Gen on A. That, it's just having the right numbers, right? It's whether or not you're going to be at the right site. And as I explained it last round, unfortunately, they chose the one with more version 1 members at the end of the round. And it's becoming a pattern. Right now, you got to think, how does version 1 have all of these mind bullets they're sending out to read these plays? It's uncanny. Gun round on both sides. We do have the Blade Storm Frenzy from Allow.
You see the Nanostorm and the Gravity Well combo coming out from nuturn at the exit to trees. So there's value. They've invested utility to control that area of the map every single round because they want to work the middle, but they've gotten the middle before Riv and they haven't been able to do anything with it.
And this is an incredibly different setup as well from V1 with now Jammies on the right towards A. All of the util, Sentinel, Initiator utility towards that left side of the site. They're expecting something big here for the gun round and they want to be able to retake. A little bit of a lean rotation coming out of Effie's here as they reconsider what nuturn might be doing. Trailblazer comes through, Doug, and it looks like a small commit here to get some info from nuturn.
Yeah, Zelsis should be able to help him out, though. The shock dart, oh my gosh, throw all the utility you want at him. It doesn't matter as Vanity continues to hold fast, looking for the third. Suggest it's just down to crumbs on health, 33 HP. Effie's has shown up as well. It's a party on this side of the map. nuturn don't want to have anything to do with it as they somehow, through the chaos of the buckshot, walk away with enough personnel and enough health to try to flip the map.
That's a bit of a different look from V1 too. Oh, great job by Allow. They need to open this up as he lands 50 damage coming in from the snake bite. And now it's up to Suggest. 33 HP and a dream on this one. He does hear the dash, but Penny is too quick on that. And like I said, a different look in where they put Jammies there, but usually version 1 will only put 2 towards B. So having 3 there was probably a bit of a turn. Vanity being inside here. Usually Vanity is doing a little bit more rotating around, but he uses the shock bolt and sonar bolt there coming in from Effie's to do a lot of work. And the judge comes up big here. Vanity's not afraid to use it. Back to Sheriffs here. 1 Phantom as Allow was on Bladestorm last round. But that's 4 already for version 1. They continue.
Allow the only one bringing a rifle into this round. But the play has been the same here.
What they need.
I guess the one difference is Solo like aggressively went in by himself this time. Got a weapon upgrade. He's already good for 2, Riv.
This is the Solo that version 1, or nuturn needs, the fans need right now, as version 1 gets taken out 2 in a row, 3 in a row, if you count the last one. And we're coming up on a minute left here. nuturn feeling much more comfortable even coming in with this eco round, but they are starting to hit their frags.
They are, not a moment too soon. They understand, V1 does, that they've funneled their way onto the site. Celsius is alone here as Jammies has not joined the play yet, and because of his desire to get a little bit of info, he gets punished at the hands of Lakia, and it could have actually been with Vanity's judge, of all things.
Yeah.
Ironic indeed, as Jammies works his way around. You see that Perry's waiting for it. While he was waiting, not able to land the kill.
Are these the lineups that get it? Oh my word, there's one.
No way, right?
Got another one for Jenny, so he's actually just letting himself know where he doesn't need to look, where he can displace somebody, cutting some angles, but he's not going to be able to do enough as he gets cut down by Lakia there. And now from Haven to Ascent, we see the rounds of aggression being the ones that nuturn capitalize on. Speed, aggression coming out of the gate, Solo grabbing it here, and this is what we saw from Solo in their victories, just cleaning up whoever would be standing in front of him at any time. Allow as well, a great job by nuturn to turn it on this round. Woo! Oakley dokley.
All right, here for nuturn, what do they dial up? Oh man, the spikes on the side of A, and as soon as the gate goes down, Jammies invests the Viper's Pit to deny any entry into A, and I mean, that's like a hard, okay, well, we've got to reconsider something. If their plan was to go to A, that just becomes significantly more difficult. Solo does have the lockdown, right? So there's room to create something, and even with the Viper's Pit, Riv, it looks like they want to go in anyway. They've taken Cat, they're posted up down A long. They want to work this way.
Look how nobody's moving on version 1. nuturn wants information. Now finally getting out of the situation. Tree is taken. Great ground and control by Allow and the rest of the team to start this off.
Oh, that's huge, right? The lockdown could have cleared Jammies out to drop the Viper's Pit. Jammies plays it well, but he dies anyway. The Seekers are going to come out as well. Excuse me, as Penny's op is tamed, at least for now. As V1 consider how they want to retake this. They do have a lockdown of their own. But Riv, it looks like they don't even really want to try.
Yeah, they throw a lockdown in, and Lakia says, I'm going to take that out with my Hunter's Fury. So holding for now. They don't need to use too much. And nuturn doing a great job there at working together now. You know, we saw them kind of try to take that B control away from Vanity when he had the Judge, and it was 1 by 1. Feeling more comfortable, trusting each other. They're right behind each other, shooting over his shoulders. That's how you saw Allow and one other take Tree as they were taking that long as well. Look at, they're so happy. Just dancing back by Gelato, getting a quick order in before the next round. And nuturn showing signs of life much earlier here in map 2 to start shutting down version 1.
Much earlier, Riven, they needed it. If you track back to the previous round, to the previous map, to Haven, they'd lost 8 rounds in a row, right? Before they'd won that round. So you can feel like the pressure, and yeah, the map has changed, but for nuturn, they needed to will themselves out of the catacombs that they were in from a mental perspective to work your way into a better, more advantageous position. And so far, that's what nuturn has been able to do. A heavy stack towards B. They've got Gravity Well, or excuse me, they have Astra Stars. Back towards B, denying information coming in from the defender spawn. It looks like they're going to try to hit B here, and we haven't seen a full hit here. They've tried Riv, but they just haven't been able to get past what V1 has set up here.
This is the first time version 1's kind of playing their own wall push towards mid. I think they leave jammies to do this. The spam comes through from Zelsis. Tags a few, but nothing to write home about just yet.
So Vanity's going to, because of the information that's been gathered, Vanity's going to try to push his way out of A. He did get spotted by the alarm bot from Solo, or excuse me, the turret from Solo just then, so he's got to be expecting that. That's going to force nuturn to have to double down on A because of the perception of pressure from that side of the map. The middle's not safe as well. Options continue to dwindle for nuturn.
Look at how version 1 changes up just a little bit of the strategy, a little bit of the placement when the gun rounds come back around. Knowing they have to hit back on that economy, go for the throat of nuturn. And version 1 is just able to make these slight changes that are not allowing nuturn the ground they want to take control. Still, the possibility to take this one, if they can get the spike plant in. Lakia does have the Hunter's Fury, but it seems so far away at this point. And a shoulder shot to allow from Penny is going to drop another one at tiles on the map.
The kid doesn't miss, man. Penny just doesn't miss. It's just not fair. Now, we look at how Perry has to work the most scenic of scenic routes to try to get back towards A. And again, it was because of the presence that Vanity showed early on. Perry has to respect the possibility that somebody has worked in through the attacker spawn and was wrapping in on them. Now Perry's going to be able to get away. He's going to keep the rifle. He stays alive, which is great. But you see just like those small moments, right? Like that small bit of presence destroying the turret really kind of puts them in a tizzy.
Just this push right here, let's say it. There's 2 pushed up in mid. You have information on tiles, no rotation. Information going up cat, no one's on A yet, so you only need to leave 1 on A. The way version 1 is able to distribute themselves and get the return on investment they are with info, with frags, is just making it so hard for nuturn to do anything. Let's see here. This time it does not look like they want to be stalled and allows in the site to start.
Oh gosh. Dude, the flash, the dash, allows the tip of the spear, and it's instantly stripped off as he drops. You see Lakia drops as well with the Hunter's Fury. And now nuturn find themselves again, like looking for plan B. All right, B didn't work, so I guess it's probably more like plan mid or plan A, but you get what I'm saying. Nothing's working.
Spike down mid.
Okay. Penny. Okay. Okay. Oh my word. Penny is heads up today, that's for damn sure. No tails. Perry takes down Jammies with the Phantom. and we're looking to see what he can do. Again, you know, Perry always being the last one alive, anchoring around, making sure he can be in astral form, but it makes for a tough situation when you cannot regroup with the team due to what version 1 is making happen here. It's going to be a little foire at the cafe. Almost. Oh dear, oh dear. That is a hell of a hedge. Effie's takes down Perry there with the Odin, and they continue to run the map now with a few rounds in their favor. It should be, again, another save coming out. We'll see what happens if they decide to fully save up for a few rounds of bye to come back on to version 1.
Yeah, man, you can feel the financial implications of everything, right? That's 2 rounds in a row where Perry has to try to save in order to keep their finances in a better spot. The previous round, not the one we just played, but the one before that worked out. But this time, they had to drop it. So you see investment out of Allow, you see investment out of Lakia, and as they call in a timeout on the side of nuturn, I think this is a pivotal time too, because this half is still salvageable, right? You also have the Hunter's Fury, you have the Cosmic Divide, but the window for opportunity to get back in this map gets smaller and smaller every round.
Buying on the off rounds is a thing. They have a bit of flex and money. There's a few saving. There's a few buying armored up. I feel like they need to collectively get on the same page for nuturn. Yeah, you have the Blade Storm. Yeah, you have this, that. It kind of works. There is full util around the board. But as soon... Okay, so we actually have Suggest going back over to 1. That feels a bit better. As soon as somebody like that... What are you doing to me, nuturn? I guess we're just chatting. They haven't purchased yet. But I was wondering if they're going to save, if they're going to do these rounds. We saw when version 1 played Liquid, it was a slugfest on some of those maps, of partial buys, keeping the econ going. And it's good to see that nuturn wasn't flexing towards that. It's the kind of story I had going when I saw their buys. But keeping it safe here, they're all together on the buy as they get a tactical timeout going through. And let's talk about what we might want to see them do here. Because when they keep going up, they keep getting stopped by only a few bits of utility. And it seems more like that is based on not confident on going in the site rather than everybody going in, right? Only Allow pass through a Viper toxic screen on the last one. Everybody else could have basically passed through. They don't dash, but you're there. It just seems like that a bit of disjointedness for them is really, really hurting them.
Yeah, I would have to agree completely. And again,
they got to keep going with their util.
They have to, right? And again, it's just a point I was making earlier. It seems like nuturn understand the gravitas of the moment. They have to invest in rifles. They have to make something happen here. They have certain tools to do it. Like I mentioned, they've got the Hunter's Fury, and this is a slightly different look, right? This time they're looking to work the middle of the map. Penny from the top rope, going fishing, looking for a little something on the parry. Not going to find anything, but the thing is, V1 already has a considerable amount of information from droning through Garage, so they know there's no heavy hit coming that way. The spike is making his way towards A. As you see, Allow has taken top cat control. I wanted to see something a little different, and maybe it's off the backs of the Hunter's Fury from Lakia, but...
This is going to be nuturn prepped here. And version 1 seeing these stars early means they're a bit in position as well. nuturn with the aggression, 3 from A long as they head into the site, but a molly takes down Suggest.
You just can't work your way in, right? There's no entry between the gravity well, between the nanoswarm, between the snake bites, between everything they throw at him. It's so hard to manage. Lakia's Hunter's Fury clearing out a little bit of space. Penny goes fishing. No, Penny doesn't land it. It looked like he thought he was done, but Lakia takes care of business. Allow gets 2 of his own, tries to get the 3rd, not able to do so. The lockdown coming out. And Solo has to run for the fences. Maybe he's... Oh, no.
Here's the bait. Can they bait him? Can they bait him? Lineups are there.
No, they're patient. Zelsis on the defuse. Gets it to half, but drops. Lakia looking to make a little magic happen as the dark gets cleaned up. Effie's alone in a 1v2. Oh my gosh! Effie's does it again! Are you kidding me?
I hope everybody has their earplugs in the studio right now. That is just absurd. The unthinkable from Effie's once again in the Odin transfer as he is standing in a family photo. They were looking at him dead in the eyes, and he's able to pull it off here. Absolutely something else.
Dude, how? How? That might be the best Red Bull clutch we've seen the entire week. I mean, that was just out of control.
Reminds me of Leafs when their teams were playing Cloud9 Challengers. Oh, my word.
Operator in the hands of Penny again. You see the willingness that nuturn have in investing utility to clear out top cat, but much like we've mentioned so far in this half, they haven't been able to do anything with that. And Riv, you kind of wonder with the such a big momentum play, like what we just saw out of Effie's, you can almost, it's easy to feel the air just kind of sucked out of them. How do nuturn respond?
It's tough. And Doug, look at this strat set up on defense by version 1. Sova's out of B site now. Anybody runs down lane, you run into a toxic wall, sonar bolt comes over, and you're supposed to be able to see who's in the site, but it's all going a little too slow there. There's the return by version 1.
Yeah.
And now they're looking. It's going to be real tough for Zelsis here. Great job by nuturn to pull it back.
Yeah, I think the other key thing to remember there in that moment was Effie's had the Hunter's Fury, right? And he was playing off-site. You can actually see Vanity's about to walk right past the scene of the crime. So he was set up to try to invest that Hunter's Fury to control the site, to try to stop things from going the other way, but wasn't able to do so. Vanity.
Oh.
All right, that was key out of nuturn, right? Like they needed that, especially given how Effie just punched him in the mouth. That was an excellent response from nuturn.
Get the blood flowing for the team. Get a few more alt points in there for nuturn if they can keep themselves up in these rounds. Maybe start focusing a few orbs. They're resorting to the 3-2 each time. They feel like that's been working for them to feel something out, keep everybody protected, and have a flank watched by at least one side. You can see that Solo's over on the right there, and they do have lockdown. Hunter's Fury is there for Effies. Again, an answer from version 1 possibly for this round. So can nuturn find a way to get that ult out? Can they start making version 1 respect the agency and the control that nuturn's trying to get around the map? Well, there's an answer right there.
And look at the
that
stylistic...
was just out of Effie's.
Well, like, look at the stylistic difference there, right? They know that Solo has the lockdown. Oftentimes, you'll see a Hunter's Fury kept as like an ace in the hole as a counter to that lockdown, especially when you're on defense, to stop teams from being able to easily take the site. But Effie's invests that early on to try to clear out some space, and it was all off the back of how well they've read nuturn, right? Like, they thought they had a bead on where nuturn was going to be.
The judge there for Vanity. Not to mention how much money that continues to put in their pockets as you buy that from round to round. nuturn making a bit of noise as they drop in, but there's the ult we were expecting. Let's see if they can set this one up. See, they're waiting, but now the smokes are an afterthought. Everything's a bit slower. Here come the Viper bites, and everybody's going to take a bunch of damage and vulnerability when they come through. It just seems like it's not on pace for what needs to be happening versus version 1.
I've got your trail. 30 seconds
Seeker's
left.
coming out as well. This Vanity somehow stays alive. Oh, and the Viper's Pit's coming out as well, but Allow somehow has made his way deep into the belly of the beast undetected. Jamie's playing around his own Jello. No, he's going to drop. That's off the board as Allow tries to stay alive. There's Vanity's judge taking care of business again. Perry clearing things out. Penny pushing his way in through tree. The path
Double
has been
team
clear.
on tree. Wow.
Courtesy of Zelsis, and that's going to leave Solo and Perry alone. They've got a decent setup here. Perry has to stay alive. That's so difficult to deal with. Solo's in a great spot as well. This is certainly a winnable situation for nuturn. The tap starts. Solo good for one, not able to get the second. That's going to leave Perry on an island. In a 1v2, the Cloudburst buying a little bit of time.
Half.
Penny gets it to half. Penny drops. Perry
He's
in the 1v1. And I don't know that Effie's has enough time. He's got to stick the fight to him right now. He gets it, but is he going to get enough time for the defuse? No, he's not even going to try. Excellent response from nuturn.
Oh, the difference in the rounds are very touch and go, and nuturn is there on the edge to take one for themselves. But they are able to capitalize, Doug, and that's the only thing that matters at the end of the round. nuturn coming back with a few here. Well done to just stop the action on the post plant and not allow V1 in. For some reason, they always solve the puzzle. They decipher what you're doing. Vanities comes in, kills a few. The double team on Cat, and then no one peeked. No one bought into the fake fight, the 1v1s, and Perry came up big. He's been waiting for his moment, and he solidified one there.
That boy's cold, ice in his veins, a desperately needed Red Bull clutch coming out of nuturn there. As we mentioned, Riv, at the half, like, this is still a very salvageable round. That was a pivotal moment where they needed to make adjustments, and it seems like they've been able to capitalize a bit off of some of that momentum. A 7-5 half, given how the beginning of this map went, that feels like a win.
Beautiful push in. nuturn vibing now. Feeling pretty good as they make their way into A once again.
You are divided.
That's the ultimate coming in from Astra. Cosmic Divide is there, and Allow is going to take a front row seat to heaven.
Oh, wow. The shock dart was there, and the judge was there as well. And you look at Solo. Solo's off the play right now. He's still on top Cat because he's worried about that. He was worried about Penny. Now they have to push their way through. The Cosmic Divide just narrowly keeping a member of version 1 alive. For nuturn, Vanity has already tapped it. They started, but they're pulling off. Lakia has the Hunter's Fury, but Effie's is going hunting. Lakia's already good for one, but Perry read it like a book. He was playing in wine. There's the Hunter's Fury. Penny gets it to half. But I don't know if he's going to get enough. No, the Hunter's Hunter's Fury comes in at just the right time.
Beautiful.
Keeping things alive for nuturn and getting him to a 7-5 half. What a shift, Riv.
I am also such a big fan of Lakia's ults. The mechanic he uses, if you didn't see it, he pulls the ultimate up from the ground so it's hidden until the final moment when your opponent can see it. That actually caused Penny to have to dash, I'm sorry, Lau to have, Penny to have to dash away. So, or to say, yeah, Lau. Now I'm getting all confused here.
We'll see if we can see it, but you're right. It's a really cool thing. Look at the trajectory of the Hunter's Fury on your screen there and how it comes down and then pops back up. As you were saying, Rick, that like hides where the trajectory is. That hides, it gives him just a split second to try to dance around that. Very beautiful by Lakia.
Seeing the name switch in the top right and then Penny be back on right. I was like, wait, okay, what? It gets you. It gets you. 7-5 here as they start off, and hey, wouldn't you know, that's an A.
And dude, like version 1 plays so hard on this like post-plant utility that Jamie's that entire entry was not even close to the site, right? Like that was a 4. That was gross by Perry. That was just like a 4-man take that version 1 attempted, and nuturn handled that with ease. I think if that's the plan, is just totally leaving Jamie's off of the entry like they did on Haven, that pistol suggests that that may not work.
Yeah. Perry waiting. Very good. Thrust, Perry. Ah, yes. Just what a round from him. They're feeling it now. Now, for a moment, I mean, you never doubt yourself, but you're like, why can't I shoot? Why does it feel like I should be hitting these shots, but not? It's a very dangerous spot to be in. nuturn shaking all those cobwebs off. Now they're feeling it. This is the game we wanted to get in this series all throughout, and I hope we get to a map 3 for this. Alau's going to be pushing forward to start things off here on the second round by.
Yeah, considerable gun advantage in favor of nuturn, just pistols for version 1, and it's gone about as well as you would expect. Lakia just continues to pile it on. A Prime Gaming flawless round for nuturn as we're tied up at 7 apiece. Now version 1 are going to have better weaponry. This is still a great bonus round for nuturn, so you even question, like, given how the momentum is going your way, do you kind of risk it and invest a little bit here instead of just riding the gravy train all the way to Flavortown? It's tough to say, but for V1, they're going to have a little bit to fight back with here.
A little Prime Gaming flawless. And it was quick. I think as well, you know, Prime Gaming flawless is good to see come in, but for nuturn, that feels good. Confidence again in the fact that what they're doing is working. A little Naisu around the board, and they're ready for another round. 7-7 now. We're all tied up on Ascent for nuturn versus version 1.
Suggest and Lakia both have rifles. Spectres the rest of the way. You see Alau has already taken a little bit of damage as V1 look to work the middle of the map. They've got the Astra Star back closer to defensive spawn to deny some info if they try to push their way in that way. And this feels just like enough that nuturn have to respect it, right? They've made presence across the middle of the map. They've shot down the wall, and it's just like, it's a threat. It's like, hey, baby, we could be here.
And I love the wall that they use over here, V1. They've been using utility windows, and by that I mean when smokes are going up and down, walls are falling, that's when they're taking their shots, those small windows to find small frags and get themselves ahead in the round. Now trying to recuperate what could be Effie's body. Effie's gets one, and he takes down Lakia.
Dude, that was huge. Lakia was the only one on the site, and he was really kind of flanked in. Lakia had to go nuts there for nuturn, but now version 1 have full control of the site. You see Alau and the remaining members of nuturn starting to mosey their way over, but as they walk over, they just kind of get mowed down. Perry, again, alone on the opposite side of the map, has to save a weapon, or attempt to save a weapon to try to get into the next round, because they're not going to have much else to work with, Rev.
V1 again feeling that confidence in the first shots as they make their way into the sites with a decent amount of utility. Again, next round, watch for version 1 having Jammies off by himself with that wall, just an info grabber. Vanity, the rest of the team will mill about the map, and they'll find themselves something that feels like success that allows them to go to the next thing. Beautiful audio shot and prediction there coming out of Perry. See if he can do a little bit more damage here. This would actually help a lot. Armor off. Armor off is a big help. It's another grand, so at least they get a little bit there. Nice job by Perry at the end.
Oh, Lakia, again, Lakia was in a really good spot here, and he almost caught Effie's, right? When they first caught each other, it was a swing out. Effie's had utility out. Lakia needed to get that kill to control that area of the map on the hit onto B. Wasn't able to do so. Slightly different Viper wall here. Coming out from Jammies and an op in the hands of Allow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing about this op. And he's got some armor. Got like a bikini armor on. He's got half. He's good though. He's not a naked opper. And we'll see a quick shot to start things off towards tiles. That's going to alert version 1 that there's an op on the board. So now they might want to close these angles and use a bit more util to push whatever that op angle might be on the side of Nuturn's defense. Jammy's already pushed up behind that necessary flash. And again, Jammy's alone until they need it. He's grabbing info, letting him know what he sees. Vanity can then make it happen across the map.
Hunter's Fury coming up from Effie's to clear out tree, and then the team's going to follow shortly thereafter. Penny with the dash, going to have the first type, but the flash was there. The flash stops everything. Version 1 are stuffed as nuturn hold fast. They mow down the members of V1. Effie's is the last one standing in a 1v5. nuturn not going away, not going quietly into that good night as they put up one hell of a fight.
And they read this so nicely with what was happening around the map. Again, quietness from version 1. nuturn said power and numbers towards A as they slowly put all their util into position to shut down what version 1 was trying to do.
30 seconds left.
Looks like they won't get too much more use out of Effie's. They may try to push him at the end here. But we're possibly seeing nuturn be able to start to control the economy game if they can get enough off of version 1 over the next few rounds. And that's going to be pivotal because version 1 right now just are on top of the fundamentals. They're on top of the plays overall. So every little bit that nuturn can get back here is very big.
Yeah, Effie's looking to do a little bit of what Perry did a couple of rounds ago, but you're going to be tied up at 8 apiece. Now, one other thing that I want us to keep an eye on, because we saw it earlier in the half, and that seems to be a pivotal conditioning area for really both sides, is the middle of the map. In the previous round, there was an alarm bot smack dab in the middle. You see it on the minimap that never got triggered, so there are a few things to think about here. Number one, version 1 don't know exactly the spot of that, right? Like, so it's not like they can drop a shock dart from far away to clear it out. And nuturn still have, it's the exact same spot. You see it, right? There's no reason to change that around. They can control that area of the map with relative ease. They don't have to worry about it because that alarm bot hasn't gone off. Now for V1, they're hard going A-Riv.
And they have the off too on the side of defense, not positioned. It's over towards B here for Allow. So this could be a hard retake. Oh, this beautiful job so far by nuturn getting back into these sites. See if they can do it again. The flashes have been what has successfully got them the frags, and Perry's there alone to get 2.
Riv, this is the exact same look that we saw from V1 on the pistol. Jammies was in the same spot. The investment that they made into the round was the exact same, and would you believe it, the outcome is the same as well. They try to funnel 4 in from A long and leave Jammies off, and nuturn just handle it so well. That's the second time they try that. It doesn't work.
The plays are being read. That's usually what happens when you say, wait, where did the initiation from version 1 go? Because the plays were read. The shock bolts, the sonar bolts didn't give any info, and this is what it looks like when nuturn is then able to shut down a V1 strategy. They know it. They're feeling it, and they just need to replicate that over and over. And right now, it feels like they can do that without a problem. 3 ultimates ready for them. They can start to domino those ults round per round and make sure it's a bit more successful for them. And you can see version 1 now wants the tactical timeout, since those rounds seemed like the most chaotic rounds for version 1 in the entire series so far of 2 games.
Yeah, and nuturn have won 4 of the last 5. They look really good on this half, and hopefully we have this awesome stats dude in the background who's making our jobs infinitely easier. He makes us look way smarter than we actually are. But I want to confirm, I believe this is the first time that nuturn have the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time they have the lead the entire map.
Yeah. I was statsing that one out as we went along, and It's wild to think about, honestly, with the caliber of both teams coming in, the preparation we've seen from them on each map that they play, and these agent compositions that they come through with. I think, you know, always seeing nuturn run this same composition, maybe the homework was done. Version 1, you can start to say the same thing once they got jammies. They haven't switched up too much, but it does seem like the sub is not affecting version 1 whatsoever because of the way they play jammies on the side of the map. If he does lose a 1v1, it happens, the info's grabbed, and Vanity's still running a strat here. So we'll see if, now looking at Nuturn's side, what their setup is, how they would be able to stop what's happening here from version 1 as we get back in. And a lot of the stars are towards that A side. Again, coverage on what they have towards that alt orb is a lot of what they like to do. Knowing the other team isn't successfully building themselves up for free, and getting a little bit of pressure and knowledge of what could start at A here. So 5 seconds in, looks like we will get a little back and forth on the A alt orb.
See, trading gravity wells, but the one difference is that nuturn hit a little bit harder in this instance, as Allow has the op. Zelsis has worked his way forward to try to get the ult orb, and yeah, you got it, but it causes Zelsis his life. Penny looking to do a bit of the same. So you mentioned, Riv, at the beginning of the round, the ult orbs and how important they would be this round. Both of them have already been collected. And now V1 with the Blade Storm, they've got the opportunity to reset, right? They have plenty of time. Well, they did lose Zelsis, but
right. And that play, honestly, might have just been a good mind game by nuturn. Usually you see Suggest at A, so you're not expecting a quick flash to come around the corner, but Suggest being at B, nuturn start to divvy up where they play each other, but Penny says, we'll take one right back.
Penny already good for one. They make the noise, they get the kill, and then they get the heck out of dodge. You see him flipping the map. Penny looking for a bit more as now he works his way up the middle. Now there's that alarm bot I mentioned earlier. That's going to give some away, and the door's down as well. It's so hard to get through that when you don't have the weaponry. Penny's just going to stick the fight to him. Good for one, good for two. Third on the round as he manages to stay alive with 88 health, but they're hunting. They know where Penny is. They're out looking for blood. Solo just slowly, patiently waiting. The onus is on Penny. How patient is he? Not able to land the burst. He gets cleaned up, but Effie's what the Sheriff does, and it's gone absolutely as we all predicted, right? At the beginning of this round, somehow V1 find themselves with the numbers advantage. A thrifty round win, first one of the series, and a statement out of V1. That pause could not have come at a better time.
Again, if nuturn takes a round, version 1 stops the bleeding immediately. Somehow they come through, and a lot of the times, it's not a coin flip, it's just Penny coming through, making it happen when these rounds, like we said, you need to go for the throw on economy, right? If they're gonna start building up a bit of bank, let's hit them harder than they're going to hit us, and that's what version 1 brought into the fight. I love the play from nuturn too. The dart over that Astra smoke to kill everybody coming through, but version 1, again, adapting to the situation.
This map certainly has been back and forth. It seems like neither team is ready to go away quite yet. For version 1 here, while it's been rocky, I mean, really, with the exception of 2 rounds, it's been nuturn the entire way.
Yeah.
They're looking to work the middle of the map. There are 2 players from nuturn that are already there. You just saw Loud dash his way out towards safety, and that was strictly info grabbing for V1.
Suggest waiting. Doesn't get any tag there. Perry just getting some stars back.
Yeah, look at that. They know, right? nuturn started to rotate off. You saw Perry pull the stars back because they know at this point that the hit's going to be towards A, and then that's a confirmation. Look at Lakia just used the dart in B to make sure that nobody was pushing up. Now they can fully commit towards the A side of the map. Perry's in a critical spot. Solo is as well. Solo good for one.
Just aging over there in wine. Dougie, he gets it. Perry still stands tall in mid, and they had a lot of mid action before, so why would, you know, version 1 think there would still be some people there? Great job by nuturn to mix it up once again. 13 seconds onto this, and it looks like it's going to fizzle out for version 1 here. Suggest has a real good idea, but catches himself in the air. And Zelsis is going to hang out here. nuturn is really starting to find their groove. I think what we saw happen on Haven, most of all, was as version 1 took the lead, nuturn got into a phase of a not wanting to lose play style. And when you play to not lose, you're not aggressive. You're not controlling. You're not doing things that are regular to what you would see for nuturn. Here, they're playing to win. Once again, back in the driver's seat, feeling confident about their plays, and we're seeing a much different nuturn, the one we expected to see coming into the series.
Absolutely, and that's what has them in this position. Again, for the second time this map, they have the lead, and for the last few, it's been a little back and forth from both squads, and V1 just hasn't really been able to find a way in. Riv, like nuturn, they've read them, they've been a step ahead of them for the majority of this half, and look at the space that Solo's taking away, ensuring that Lakia can get the Hunter's Fury, get that ult turbo to bring that ultimate online. Now they have an even more powerful tool at their disposal, making things look even more bleak for V1 here. And they've lost Penny already.
Slow move up. Orb's already been confiscated. 4 ults on the side of version 1, 3 up here on the side of nuturn. All of those quite impactful for a site take. Still, wall put up on the right side. That push up though from Perry gives them a great idea that they can start leaning over towards B. We see Suggest again for nuturn back onto Cat, and this looks like it's going to be the execute coming in, and Allow is ready.
Allow already taking care of Jamie. Suggest was waiting for Vanity as well, getting a taste of his own medicine as the judge cleans him up. And again, for version 1, just not a whole lot of room to work with, not a whole lot of room to breathe. Nuturn's defenses have held up very well. Of course, as I say that, Effie's gets a 2-piece to drop Solo and Allow. Lakia drops as well, and by golly, Riv, they've gotten onto the site. They also have the lockdown at Azalsis. That's going to give them a bit of room to breathe, but no, Suggest cleans up 1. He is going to be able to get the spike down. Oh, but the timing! Oh, the timing! Zelsis just narrowly gets it down, but isn't able to do anything past that. nuturn get to 11. We've got a map.
Absolutely we do. That's going to be closer on deck. Seekers for Suggest. Great retake. Confident play there. Version 1, you can see just how scary these rounds can be for nuturn, with people just coming up with 2, 3Ks on these site takes at the last moment. So nuturn reacting so well to these instances where they might be down in numbers immediately or even in numbers, and then playing it to their favor. Boop. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Some gentleman's warfare. Yell nice. That's what we love to see. I absolutely love everything we've been getting out of the player cams. It's so fun to watch these players, and they look like they're having a blast here. nuturn, a little bit more so on this map than the last one, I'd say, Doug, as they have, like you said, 11-9 and close to that game point.
Yeah, and V1, they have a mixed buy here. You see a couple of Spectres and a couple of Sheriffs, so not what they're going to want to bring into this thing, and you kind of feel that pressure as nuturn, one round away, from being on map point. This is a pivotal round for V1. Somehow looking to pull really a miracle out of their hat, some magic to kind of flip the economy here.
I see the Cosmic Divide Viper Pit strat available for version 1. They love to do this. It's kind of one of my favorite combos to see because you're just on the other side of Cosmic Divide and you see this wall grow through it. It is a save round. I don't know if they'll try to execute it here. Allow coming up with almost 2 as Effies and Penny trade back.
Well, dude, they've already invested the Hunter's Fury. What more are they willing to invest as they're getting mowed down? But things are really being traded back and forth. Vanity's alone. Vanity good for 1. Vanity, the captain of version 1. Trying to make some magic out. No way he takes that. Oh my gosh, Vanity, a Red Bull clutch and a damn good one at that. As Vanity gets 3, the economy's busted. What a response from North American representatives.
What can't this man do? Honestly. Cat Ears leading the team, calling the shots, making the shots. Holy moly, the pressure's on, and it just feels like ankle weights for him, nothing more. What, just the consideration in the Spectre Dwarbala. You know what I mean, Doug?
I do.
Kayota. Let's go. 11 to 10 here, nuturn. Like you said, the economy's going to be a bit in shambles, but we'll see if nuturn can right the ship. It's V1's finding a way to do it.
And look, they're dialing up something a bit more aggressively here, understanding they have nuturn on the ropes as they're going to try to dash their way in, but the Hunter's Fury coming out from Lakia, looking to equalize things. Suggest playing down low. He's going to get dropped as V1 fully crack that bad boy open like an egg. You've got Solo on the flank, but you've got Jamie's just a step ahead as Lakia's left alone. Now, yes, all he had was classic, but I think you really have to stress the importance of the previous round. As we mentioned it, from a financial perspective, that very well could decide the map and the series.
One of the most impactful rounds for sure, and the fact that it has been twice now, even more times throughout the series, that V1's able to just pull it back on the next round while being down in money. Penny from his signature box from the clutch the other day there, just hiding right under the feet of his opponents. Clutches that as well. I should say gets the round for the team. 11 to 11 as we enter round 23. Ultimates up for a few on each side. The Seekers and a lockdown could be imperative here for a nuturn to retake the site. That Viper wall again over towards A. Just really making nuturn think if they're there. Seeing it a few times, they leave it alone. They say, fine, we'll play retake. Killjoy has utility there. And here are the Seekers we see first. How can they work off of these? The smoke in mid may kind of just nullify this, but they know what a slight position of version 1 is now.
Yeah, I think even more than that, Riv, V1 had some aggressive posturing. They wanted to work that way, right? They wanted to work the middle of the map, but the Seekers pushed them back and forced them to reset things a bit differently. It looks like they're still considering leaning towards a B hit, a mid-B split. But that certainly buys them time, and Perry, like undetected, the gravity well's gonna come through as well as Penny drops. Perry looking for more, not able to get it as he gets traded out. Jammies, the sub, comes huge for V1 as 2 drop on the side of nuturn. Solo's gotta go big. Solo's gotta go big, good for 1. Gets traded back out as version 1 have easy access onto A here. Oh no! The Viper Fit was there, but to just stops it. That gives him so much room to work with as they dance around the generator nose. Zelsis comes up big as well and is now Lakia in a 1v2. Lakia's there!
Oh my god!
Lakia brings it back from the depths! 6 feet under. Nuturn will not go away.
You said what about Effie's Red Bull clutch there, Doug? Oh my word, the Sovas are popping off today. You can wear a cape, sir. You can wear a cape. What a play by Lakia. Literally flying off the balcony under the pressure of a swarm. And then he still is able to capitalize on the play. And these are the plays right here. And they realized it was happening when they heard him running. But you were able to fake out every other pro player in the game. That peak moment when you are in the minds of your opponents and you just solve the puzzle so quick. Look at that. Head in hands. Head in hands, Doug.
They're like, dude, what just happened? What just happened? Now Nuturn's on map point. Bladestorm's online. They do have full rifles. And, oh, Riv, 2 judges for nuturn.
nuturn holding a great defense. Divide comes up immediately. The pressure's on from version 1 to see how nuturn react.
Lockdown's there. There's no other positioning, so this is not a fake. It really seems like they want to go this way. Penny's going to dash his way forward. Staying alive on the other side of the Cosmic Divide. The Judge, not good there, but allows Phantom was. Penny still dances around the smoke, trying to stick the matter to him. As they've gotten the spike down, so far so good, right? They check that box off, but the thing is, there's no real, no advantageous setup for post plants, right? Like, there is no investment of utility that can help them here. If things go sideways, they're just gonna take the fight. They're gonna take the fight, and Jamie's is already good for 1. Looking for a second, no! A whirling dervish of reticles flying around as nobody's able to land the shots. A 2v2 here as things slow down for just a moment. Perry's position's been given away, but they've got to know Vanity's there. The spike continues to tick away. If you're nuturn, you've got to go here, baby. Perry drops. It's all in the hands of Allow. Can he get the defuse? No, he cannot, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, baby, we're going to overtime.
Last player standing.
Down to the last drop on that play, and this is what we're getting. Everybody trading on these shots. The closest of plays to come down to an overtime now. to see who will stay in that upper bracket. Nuturn of version 1 here. And what a game so far for Nuturn to pull themselves back from that first map. Just absolutely forget about it and now put up this showing. We see the scoreboard here maybe on the second one, and it's only been a few rounds that version 1 has really been able to pull in their favor here, as it's really been this half coming in beautifully for Nuturn. So we're getting there though. Now it's OT, so erase all that. Let's see what we got, Doug.
Operator in the hands of Penny. Because of the overtime rules, that means he's not going to have armor.
Right.
He's just going to be rocking that glass cannon. See that smoke go up, go down. I think, Riv, I think he saw it. I think he saw the barrel Solo's gun. And look at, look at the utility usage from version 1 onto A. I mean, that thing's lit up like a Christmas tree. There's so much there, but Allow somehow gets through undetected anyway.
Vanity loves to play the smoke a bit. They will walk out. Here come the darts over just for a bit of damage. The double dart, actually, already landed for the shock darts. And here comes the rest of the play. Great job by Nuturn setting up the post plant. This is going to be a tough one for version 1.
Oh my gosh, and Solo's on the flank as well. They don't move. This may be ugly. Vanity already good for one. Suggest trades it back out as Effys joins in on the fun. Spike continues to tick away. There's Solo. We saw him on the flank. Solo's got a chance. Solo onto Penny. Solo onto Vanity. Or on Zell6, excuse me, and now it's Effys. Effys once again in a 1v1. Parry the swing. Effys comes up huge again.
When does he not come up clutch? Absolutely absurd. I want to call a shout out to Jammies as well on that play. As he pushed A main, he cut off Wine with a Viper bite, not allowing a push coming in from that person to get the 1v1 situation. Yep. Everything that happened there again from version 1's retake. Oh my word, the end of these rounds are absurd.
My gosh, Effys. Right, and like you look at this roster and I want to take nothing away from Effys because I think for the entire time of Valorant, he's shown how cracked out he can be, but he's not the first person you think of to do stuff like that. And how many times this week, Riv, has he been the hero that version 1 is needed?
Many times, whether it was the lineups, whether it's just all-out play, he has been able to do it when called upon. 13-12, Doug, this could be it for Nuturn in the upper bracket here. Version 1 looking to solidify a game point.
All right, the hard hit onto B. The dash comes through as Penny makes his way across. The shock dart trying to clear him out. And they're going to they're working their way in, but Solo big. Solo's already gotten 2. The gravity well is going to try to pull Zell6 out from that corner, thinking that's where the spike is going to go. Solo, how much more do you have in you? Solo good for 4. The ace is stopped at the hands of Zell6. Now Zell6 in a 1v3 to try to put Nuturn away. He's got some utility. He's got full armor. Cloudburst denying info. No, he's not able to do it.
Oh,
the Cloudburst was there. Locky is going to get the defuse, and oh, baby, we're going again.
We are go again, and I want to call attention, not a mistake, not anything, but to the nerves right now. We saw Lakia shock dart. One hit Penny straight on. The next one went into the wall in front of Lakia. These players, as well as any of the viewers and fans out there, are just as much on the edge of their seat, sweating this one out. And what a game, what a map 2 we have so far. Nuturn turning on the afterburners to keep it going. And we're gonna see if they can keep it happening here as we go into round 27.
Jamie's Viper's wall going up. No operator in the hands of Penny once again. Gets a little peek early on, not going to land onto anything. As much like we saw earlier in the half, or in the map, excuse me, the drone clearing out the middle as they try to exploit it. Allow has taken that space, and again, Allow's not able to do anything with it. Jammies takes care of him.
Fake on B right now from Nuturn. Fake on B. Version 1 is set up on the Sova Dart retake, so there's not much of a bite. We can see the rotation from Vanity right now, and all the way back across. That thwarts the entirety of the play. Spike's not supposed to show like that. Unfortunately, that was seen by Penny, and now Nuturn have to come up with a second play on the round.
On the benefit for Nuturn here is that they had mid control, right? So they can invest back that way easily. Although things went a little bit sideways, they can adjust with just over 40 seconds left. in the round. It seems like they're trying to cut noise and
Lakia.
potentially work their way around. Yeah, Lakia deep in, and how many times did we see Lakia cause problems from this exact spot in regulation time? And by golly, he's doing it again. Effie's drops. That's not a safe way to go anymore, and that should give them a bit more room, them being nuturn, to try to get onto A. The spike or the clock continues to tick down, so they've got to go A here. There's really no other option, and they're walking into Penny's operator. The jiggle, the knife, nothing showing. Great patience out of Penny, but his position's been given away. He has to dash out. Zealous is good for one. 7 bullets left. 5 seconds left on the clock. They've got to get the spike down. Perry just playing in the nick of time, but Suggest comes up big. He takes care of him. The spike goes down. Now, it's on Jamie's Seeker, giving his position away. As Jamie's has to come up big. Jamie's good for one. The kill gets traded. nuturn take the lead.
Beautifully played by nuturn there. The double peek is all you needed. They walked out together, hip in hip. Great fundamental play there to secure the round, but it means so much. Match point, once again, now on the side of nuturn here as version 1 look to keep this one alive for themselves.
What a map this has been. My goodness, it's delivered, and this was kind of like the tail of the tape, right? This is what people were excited for and hoping for in this matchup.
Yep. And Doug, I question, what was nuturn's second strat for that round? How were they going to come back, right? Oh my word, were they able to do it after using quite a bit of utility on aim, on out aiming? Version 1, here we go, round 28.
Version 1 backs against the wall.
Whoa.
Jamie's got messed up there, man. He's going to have to peel back a little bit, but Penny is taking the middle of the map. No, the nano swarm's there. Tags him up a bit, but they somehow clear him out of logs anyway. Lakia mows down 2 members of version 1, as now he's anchoring still back on the site, retreats to safety, 1 point away from having the 100. Keep that in mind. The drone comes up big as well. 12 seconds left. They've got to know he's back there. They've got to know he's back there. Allowance to just swing out. Version 1's left to very little as Vanity and Effie's trying to keep it alive, but no, it's not going to happen. Oh my got pushed around. They got beaten. They got battered, but they're the last ones standing on Ascent.
Turning a new leaf here on game 2. nuturn, stay in it. We're going to a map 3 versus version 1, and that was so well deserved. Such fortitude, perseverance coming in. And they kind of took version 1 out of their own game.
They did.
Like seeing version 1 take that B site at the end. Why not push Lakia? The version 1 a few rounds before would have been right in there, taking down the Odin, not worrying about it. But that was the pressure nuturn started to create. You had to second guess what you were doing from the side of version 1. And that's, I think, what we expected. Both teams to impose on each other in this series. And now we're getting it, Doug. Now we're getting that match we wanted.
And look, Riv, like I'm sure the desk is going to talk about it, but one of the glaring absences there from version 1 was, like, what have we come to know? What have we come to expect when it comes to version 1 on attack? Right? The spike goes down, they drop utility, shock dart, snake bites, whatever it is, right? They make the post plant so suffocating. How often did you see that on Ascent?
Less than they would have liked, because the adaptation, and you saw the way that nuturn played as well, always having somebody like this, because that's where version 1 is, looking for the flank, looking for those post plants. So version 1 did a great job of tackling that and just kind of bringing them and wrangling version 1 together for that.
Oh, nuturn played that so well. Achilleos is grinning from ear to ear. We are going to map 3. Folks, we're going to take a break. I need a break. Grab a little bit of water. We're going to cut to a break. When we return, the analyst desk and Golden Boy will break down everything that we just saw. Stay tuned.
nuturn ain't done just yet, people, as they take the match to map 3. But let's go ahead and circle back for a moment and talk about map 2 with some highlights presented by Prime Gaming. And Veli, this game, top to bottom, was insane. We thought NAEU was going to be a treat. Nah. It was clearly NA Korea is where it's at, baby.
Yeah, we forgot about one of the best regions out there. Korea definitely showed up, but they did not show up at all in the first half. Matter of fact, it was 7-2 in favor of version 1. It looked like Vanity and the squad, they were just running away with it. Penny was popping off, the middle control was there, and the op play along with the Blaze Storm had me wondering if Penny was the next best jet that was coming out of NA. But then things started to slow down. Penny started to be a victim of the first blood, and everything came together for nuturn. You saw the rotations coming through, you saw the map control. There was a point in time where you saw a pinch in Garage where just version 1 made sure that nuturn was choked out. They had nowhere to go. You flip that around to the second half. Solo's lurks have been insane. The flanks have been there. Suggest has been on fire. And I was telling Achilleos, man, if this is what nuturn is all about, I expect them to run the scene soon.
Oh, yeah, suggested he had picked it up, you know, actually, I wouldn't even say picked it up. He picked it up at the latter part of the game, but let's not forget, game 1, Suggest was the only player on his team to just break even. So he's been having a good day today, just needed the pop-off moment, and I'm actually really glad we showed that clip there. We'll get back to that one in a moment, but Achilleos, this one had everything, better time than any to go ahead and bust out our Verizon high-speed moment, that end of round 23, when Achilleos nuturn, they came to play some Valorant.
Yeah, I mean, good God, this play is just, it's actually nuts. This is something that, like, you would never expect to see. It's something that you never really should see happening. You know, Solo, he's holding off over a tree. He manages to trade one. They take him out pretty quickly. And Lakia Suggest is about to get picked off. They do happen to get this great kill. Yeah, if they don't get jammies, then this play does not work at all. But Suggest is dead. Lakia is just storming the site. He runs straight to the nanoswarm, doesn't give a damn, drops down, and happens to catch Zellsis throwing out the turret. I mean, like, if that doesn't happen, who knows? Maybe this was just like everything. The stars aligning, basically, for Lakia. Like, this should never have worked, but the fact that it did, like, good God.
You want to know why, Lothar? Because he had the quick thinking, just like Verizon's high-speed network. That's why. That's why.
I just wanted to say that he has a heavy package between his legs, and he's probably not going to be able to jump, because that guy is crazy, man. There's so much bravery in him. Insane,
that's one way of saying
that is you've certainly painted quite the picture for all of us, Lothar, to think about.
Yes, I know.
Oh, man. Well, why don't you paint another picture for us here? Because, Lothar, you were, I'm surprised you're not bald right now, because you were molding a lot of that game. And part of it was because of some questionable choices from nuturn. One in particular that I know was a little startling was round 24 on that retake. It made some weird decisions there.
We rarely do like a replay of a bad play, but this one actually made me go bald for sure and join you, Gold Boy, because this is the last round. This is where the every single utility that you have has to be used, and we have seen Solo push outside of CT with his Killjoy ultimate ready. There are the only two options. He either uses outside of CT to push out everyone from side to be backside in boathouse, or he goes out of CT with support of his team to go in front of the button to place it there. The third option was, I'm gonna just push out alone, not even check my left side because the right side was smoked, and he dies. Like, literally those sloppy plays from nuturn are the reason why we even went to OT, and we have seen so many of them. I'm really, like, visibly upset because they play nuts. They are really good players. They have everything to succeed, and they round and round and round, we see those really questionable plays that go into the round, and it just ruins the game plan. It's crazy because they still want the map.
Yeah, it's actually something that we've seen throughout the entirety of this tournament, right? I'm thinking about when Fnatic played against Sentinels as well. Whenever some of these regions, and all of these regions really, see some of the attacks kind of go off in. And with Killjoy coming out first, they know that's not the order of attack. They know this is match point. They know you have to utilize that lockdown. So make sure you get that pinch in middle and make sure that execute is perfectly ran. But I fear now, Golden Boy. Achilleos, Lothar, Going to map 3, seeing what version 1 is capable of, the flicks, the clutches. We're talking about Penny and Effie's. Now going against a red-hot nuturn. This could be a turning point in this entire bracket.
Yeah, Achilleos, man, you know, and I believe it's going to be split is where we're heading off
Split,
to.
yeah.
This now opens the floodgates here. I think version 1, they got away with a lot of shenanigans on Haven. They're a great team, but they were clearly in their element. Nuturn have found themselves here. What do they do to be able to turn this around and send version 1 to that lower bracket?
I mean, this is going to be a tough one. Both of these teams, they have very similar records when it comes down to split. If you look at their all-time, it's 16-6 for version 1, and it's 15-5, I believe, for Nuturn. They have, you know, historically have been pretty good at this map. They're the first team to ever best Vision Strikers on this map. So I think that if they can manage to just kind of pull off their usual set plays, like if they get a side, they have some wonderful defensive set plays. I think that if they can make those work and just stay calm, keep their heads in the game, I think that they should be able to take this away. I'm expecting another overtime, honestly, though. I think that they're playing so very close together that there's no way that this ends in a blowout. At least I hope that it doesn't. If this is close, I'm going to be satisfied no matter who wins.
Yeah, well, you got to stay cool as a cucumber in this situation. That goes for Nuturn as well as version 1. We're going to map 3, people. Split is going to be the battleground that settles it all. Who moves on to the next round of this competition? And let's send it over to 2 of the best dressed people in their respective buildings. You got Doug and Rivington, and I got to get myself some suspenders. Let me find some.
Thank you, GB. Woo, baby. If map 2 was not enough, if that wasn't enough to get your heart going, to get the adrenaline pumping, I don't know what to tell you. Riv, I mean, as best as you can, if there was like one big takeaway from Ascent for you, what was it?
Honestly, the Nuturn can mentally come through anything.
Yeah.
At the point of Haven, we saw Nuturn not playing any sort of their own game. That becomes the scariest thing for a team when you're in competition, when there might be silence in the calls. Silence is chaos, is what I say when nothing's happening. You need to have a plan. You need to have something to do. And that plan honestly became, forget about map 1. We can take map 2. And the pressure, the intensity that version 1 played with is exactly what we saw them using in Korea when they took down Damwon Kia, when they took down Vision Strikers, 2 huge powerhouse teams coming out of the region who honestly were expected to be here before Nuturn. So they go back to that, they go back to their strength and play confident. And honestly, you go to that age-old saying is comfort. But we'll explain what that means a little bit more going in. Their composition for split has been the same the last 8 times they played it. We love seeing that breach in there, and I'll talk a little bit more how they play with it once we get there. How are you feeling about version 1, Doug?
Good. And I think here's the thing, right? You look at version 1's story up until this point, and to be honest with you, a lot of it is riddled with like doubt and questioning as we hop into Agent Select. Courtesy of our friends at Prime Gaming. It's, all right, V1 the roster, oh, they couldn't get past phase, and oh, now they had this, and like all of this has been like an asterisk up until this point, but it seems like V1 are just kind of like built in such a way, it's in their DNA that they can handle all of that and walk away from that on top, right? They've done it on the North American stage. They've done it on the international stage.
Yeah.
And it's been, I mean, they just took a huge blow from Nuturn, but if there's any team from North America that I believe can take a hit like that in the mouth and punch right back, it's version 1.
And on this one, we do have Nuturn starting on defense as we hop out of our Agent Select by Prime Gaming. Great game there.
Oh, yeah. You played it.
Great game. Oh, yeah, a few times.
Dabble? Dabble?
A little bit, you know. I'll watch some people. Looking at the attack percentage win rate here for Nuturn is a bit concerning, though, Doug. 44% on attack. So they need everything they can get here on defense. They got to make it work because it may be rough on the second side. Just a speculation, but we got now a little bit of mid-run going on. And it looks like it is going to be V1 feeling the weather here in mid before they make a move.
You see Suggest has something set up towards Garage on B as well.
Ooh.
And there's nobody home. They haven't taken the space away, but they do have Spidey senses tingling feeling like the hit's going to go this way, and in a large part, they are right? Like, there's no presence towards A. They're looking to work this B mid split.
If you here, we'll get this, and then I'll talk about what I was just about to say. Nice in by Penny, distracting. Oh dear, that got real close, and they're gonna have to really struggle to get this one in, as they did not get too much info.
Oh, Vanity read that so well. You saw two members of nuturn try to push through to get behind them, and Vanity was waiting for it, and now V1 are looking to dial up a little something spicy, a little something special, as they've picked up the spike, and it looks like they're gonna try to flip the map. They've taken defender spawn. They're working all the way across back towards A, and you can see it's a foot race as Lakia is trying to get to be the first one there, and Lakia does beat them to the punch. They're going to rotate back, but you've got Allow, who's also pinching them in, and they're going to walk right into his lap. Allow with the frenzy, Allow with the kills, Allow with the win. A 3K for nuturn.
Great job by nuturn playing that one slow. What I was going to mention was, I said before, we see Jammies go off alone. He'll Viper Wall, he'll stay with that, he'll give info. And you saw the whole time, Suggest was kind of waiting on that position, making sure nobody was there, but nuturn never really bit to anything until they had confirmation. They weren't worried about the Viper Wall. It's something that version 1 plays all the time there. See, again, Viper Wall towards the left side just a bit deeper, which tries to cover that upper area of Heaven. We'll see how they use this now, as they can get a little closer without a distraction yet.
Oh, gravity wall, and you're seeing a bit of a force. Oh, it's just actually in the hands of Penny, excuse me. But they did put some money into this round. You mentioned the Viper's wall. You mentioned the dash as well from Penny, as he's gotten his way up to Heaven. Not triggered by the Killjoy turret yet. I think one thing we have to keep in mind here, especially on the attacking half, is you think back to their map against Liquid, which was an overtime... an instant classic overtime match, and there were a couple of instances, one that's very vivid, where version 1, like, I believe Pansy said they overcooked it, right? Like, they tried rotating.
Yeah, just back and forth, back and forth.
Right, they, like, played themselves, and you kind of saw some hints of that in the way they played that pistol, where they got back into defender spawn, then they tried pulling back, and Allow was just waiting for him, so we have to watch that. How many pump fakes are they willing to throw? Parry with the paranoia, and then the fault line as well, and the grenade. It's just way too much. It's too easy. nuturn mows him down. Just a couple remaining
timing
on the side.
Great read, great everything. Honestly, just waiting to make this one cleaned up here.
Yeah.
And they push forward. So, nuturn, for the first time here in the map, starting off nice and strong, making sure they can keep V1 on the back foot. We did see a bit of a control here and back and forth in the few maps before, but a lot more nuturn members were falling. A lot more economy was required for their next rounds, and here they get a very nice Prime Gaming Flawless.
Very nice one indeed. Now version 1, what do they bring to the fold? You mentioned how important it is really for both of these teams to get a lead right in this first half, because of how because of the nature of split and how it frequently plays out. I think there's a lot that can be determined just off of this first half when we think about how things will play out. And it was just such a good stand by nuturn. One of the other things I'm loving from them, Riv, is how they have, well, we're gonna have to hold on to that thought. That op shot from Allow just narrowly misses as they try to work their way up A.
And here, now the jammy strat. Leave him off to the side. It's up to nuturn to now divide themselves accordingly. Usually they will have Suggest towards the middle of the map, so he can control with a fault line, whether that's towards mailroom or whether that's back down towards ramp. So they keep it safe there. The opt for Allow as Vanity on the move.
And Celsius, I mean, look at how far up they both are, right? They have full control of mid. That was their one key condition to work out. And yeah, they got one, but Lakia drops. Parry's going to drop as well. Now they have the middle of the map. Take a look at how Celsius is going to be wrapping up behind them as well, as he took his way up ropes, deep into defender spawn. There is no area of the map that V1 are not willing to push into. But again, Suggest is just able to punish that. Vanity drops.
Nice job by nuturn there to continue to pressure. I thought V1 was going to try to pull a rope-a-dope. And Solo with a beautiful push and pressure here, knowing that V1 is always going to rotate around the map a little bit. It's hardly ever the first hit. That's what the information that Jammies is giving, so they can do multiple things, decide what they want in their own adventure. But Solo pushes up, if you can grab this room on split, it means so much because of how the entries work. You otherwise know they're going through the middle of vents. You know, so if you can see nuturn pushing up like this every time, the calls they have to make are that much easier. Really smart plays.
You can already see this, we're only a couple rounds in, but this feels like a chess match already of watching players rotate around the maps and how they're kind of reading, trying to be one step ahead of one another. There you saw a beautiful multi-kill off of that exact same situation, right? Like reading things out. We'll see how V1 play this out from the attacking half. You see the fault line coming out, delaying any sort of entry into Garage, and with that, that allows Perry to get some aggressive positioning, hold that other side, and set up a brutal crossfire with Allow and Perry and Garage.
I like the fact that nuturn is splitting the wall over there on A. This new wall that you see version 1 putting up means if they do go through that top vent area, they pretty much have a safe spot towards the backside of A there. So here they put a little aggression over towards that B site in Garage, and we'll see if they actually execute fully on this with their save round coming through.
You should run.
So, all right, let's see how
Full
this
buy
plays out
save,
before I try to break this out. You see the lockdown has come out. Penny's already good onto Allow. And they've got some room, but the thing is, Suggest is back on site. He's safe from the lockdown, and he's got a rifle. Yeah, you've got plenty of utility, but the flash was there. He gets punished anyway, but Perry does not. Solo gets onto one as well. I mean, version 1 just kind of get ripped to shreds here. Zelsis with 8 health in a 1v2, and I mean, yeah, we've seen some crazier things, but insanely unlikely. Lakia gets cleaned up. And here's the thing, Riv, that I wanted to point out. It's so oppressive that nuturn takes that much space because, okay, let's play out that round one more time. They got deep into Garage, they invested utility, great. Version 1 had to invest an equal amount of utility in the Cloudburst, the Dash, the the Astra Star to clear out that corner, and all nuturn had to do was back up to where they started, right? So even though that much utility was invested to push them back, they just went back to equal footing. There wasn't anything that was really gained that wasn't already version 1's to begin with.
And they're not backing down. Previously on Haven, that might have been a save in one of those rounds that you see version 1 get back through some Sheriffs and Spectres. But nuturn was saying, no, we're Phantoms. We got a Vandal. No, they're all Phantoms right now. And a Vandal, there is one. So knowing that, why not take the fights? They have to show confidence, and nuturn is really starting to step up. Jammy's working alone by himself with that wall once again, as the rest of Vision Strikers grab the information. Solo, I mean, he is playing true to his name right now. Anytime he is put in that situation, he comes out on top. Huge for the team once again.
Suggest gets cleaned up at the hands of Penny. And you see Jamie's has made his way towards A, playing around the wall, big kill as well. And you like that, right? Because at that moment, the spike is still in the middle of the map. You feel things out on A. If Jamie's does get a kill there, they can flip it. Oh, that's big. He cancels it out. They're not going to be pushing in from that way, but if Jamie's doesn't get that kill, then they can flip and go the other way. I love that you see Penny still holding the middle of the map as well, controlling the flank. And he's going to get a chance at something here. They walk right into his crosshair to control that. The spike's going to go down at the hands of Effie's, and now nuturn have to take back.
Looks like they're just hanging out for this one.
Yep.
Make sure they're safe. And looking at, you talk about Jammies a bit. We keep saying he's alone. But let's talk about why that works good for him. You know, why would they put the sub alone? Well, Jammies comes over as a teammate already previously of a few members of this team, and Zelsis and whatnot. So you see him, one, having that communication. Two, he was kind of a duelist in Valorant, jet player, whatnot, but you're not going to move Penny off of that. So putting him in a situation where he can do whatever in 1v1s is fantastic. But on a new team, we've heard version 1 say he's not making that many decisions. So having Jammies hang out in a situation while people pressure him sounds like the perfect and ideal situation for this sub. And honestly, he gets a 1 kill across the map here, and he just gets to play around his utility and use 5-head stuff.
Yeah, Jamie's has performed admirably, to say the least. I mean, the guy's been incredible. But for version 1, I think that's also an important round because you've got to get, you've got to stop the bleeding, right? Like, you're down 4, you can feel the momentum, and think back with me, Riv, right after the pistol, the energy that nuturn showed when they won that round, you'd think they had won an overtime round, right? To freaking win the whole dang thing. And I think the important thing to take away from that is the momentum that they had from winning the overtime in the previous map fully carried here. And you can see it on the timeline, right? They roar out of the gates, they win 4 rounds in a row. And for version 1, a lot of it was like, you've got to mitigate some of this damage. You've got to do something to stop this and shift the way things are going, because this can get out of hand very quickly.
We'll have to see what I mean, nuturn here taking the tactical timeout to make sure they can continue doing what they're doing and make sure that none of this is, anything's coming back to fruition that might plague them in a situation where they're ahead, ironing all that out, whatever they may be talking about. It's even harder with masks on. Now we can't even really speculate that much. Who reads lips? Who reads lips through masks? But, we talk about version 1 quite a bit so far. We've explained jammies and whatnot. We got to go, back to talk about Solo and where he's been with Perry, and they're between them, as they said on the desk, over 2 decades of professional gaming experience and leadership there for Solo. Perry included in the gaming experience, but just what Solo has been able to accomplish himself, the veteran that he is, and still, honestly, booming the zooms, if you will.
Booming the zooms. Indeed, let's take a look at setups early on. You see the Viper's wall is going to go up, cover top ramps, and is going to cover heaven. You also have the Killjoy turret to deny any sort of rotation wrapping around from version 1 in case they get a little cheeky, try to dial up a little bit of monkey business. Ooh. As now, with that, all of that in mind, right? Like, they've taken care of A. They understand they have safety valves over there. Vanity's the safety valve on B, but with all of that, they can kind of feel things out across the middle of the map now.
The 3-block Viper wall is up. We see on the right side again, this millabout here that nuturn has been able to read by version 1. As version 1 tries to figure out what's going on, nuturn has been in the right spot. They've never really wanted to rotate through mid. They only take a few fights here. A quick suck doesn't do too much, though. And now they're able to hang out. So a bit of util now expended here from Vanity as they try to move forward. And we'll see where they can use the rest of these stars as they place them, it looks like, over towards that A site, where Jammies, again, has been grabbing info on what could be happening.
Yeah, but dude, he might have grabbed some info, but I think it's just like that nobody's home, right? And you've got so much utility. There's the alarm bot. That's going to give that away. And he hadn't even gotten up that far to have that much space. So once that alarm bot goes off, with roughly 35 seconds left in the round, you know that that's where the hit's going to go. Now, keep an eye on Jamie still. He's
already lining up.
Got to line up, indeed, but Solo's lockdown's going to create some space. They're going to have to back off, and this might, Riv, this might end up being lineup 101 here, because even if they play off with that, they've got some of those lineups. It's safe for them to play this out. If you're nuturn, you've got to take the fight to version 1 here. You've got to stick it to him.
Oh my
Allow
God.
just narrowly missing onto 1, but Solo does not. Allow gets a second. Version 1 can't get back in. The defuse is going to start. You see Jammies is alive. There's the snake bite. Is it going to be enough for the defuse?
He got it!
It stops him. It delays them. But can they get back on? Can they get back on, Riv? I don't know if they can.
They got
Solo's getting it to half. Solo's getting it to half. Solo steals it right out of under their noses.
That might have been the weirdest A-site hold I've seen. All 5 players over towards Alt Orb? Oh my word, version 1. That was, nuturn was just shooting fish in a barrel there for the last few moments. They come up 5-1, like you said, suggests just right under their noses, even with the next Viper bite coming through. And, boom, or Solo rather, sorry. Just off to the side.
Yeah, Riv, they just didn't have anything left, and we saw that lockdown early on and how much space it created. V1 had to funnel back, right? But now, on the attack again, they've got rifles across the board and a Spectre. Jamie's, again, still kind of playing chicken over on A's side. He's going to get some good info. He's going to get a kill. And Allow doesn't swing it out.
That's such a hard play for Solo. The person on the outside is always going to be able to see you there. Puts himself in a tough spot, but Penny now going into that B site. He's going to be alone. Dashes straight through.
Celsius and Penny get a couple of kills apiece. You see Vanity is playing in garage as well, holding the middle of the map as Jammies is holding garage as Jammies is holding the middle of the map, and you see nuturn this early on in the round. They've already punted. They've given up the space, and it's interesting to see, Riv, that's now twice that nuturn, a 2v5 sucks, right? Like, a 2v5 is not a pleasant situation to find yourself in. But you see teams at least try it there's this very clear nuturn. Once they have decided that, all right, guys, we can't win this round, they just cut their losses. They don't want to have anything to do with it.
We talked a little bit about Nuturn's percentages on this map. 67% win rate on the defense. When you look at all-time maps for teams and win rate percentages on attack defense, you'll sometimes see like 55s to 58s when they're really good, 60s to 63s, 67% on defense. And we're seeing that here as we're able to capitalize on almost round after round, version 1 finding a way through. But it's going to be tough, is what I'm saying, for version 1 still here on out, even finding rounds. This is where nuturn feels so comfortable. And it's where they have to, because we mentioned their attack win rate percentage is 44%. So sometimes it can fall apart where maybe nuturn again falls into that playing to their opponent in the moment and forgetting their own style.
Yeah, I think the story for V1 here is just how many rounds can you get, right? You aren't expecting to win this half. It's can we get to 8-4? Can we get to 7-5? And then get to the side that we prefer. This round, you've got the Jamie's wall up. Slightly different setup, right? Like, it's not necessarily hitting off top heaven. It's not hitting off top ramps the same way that we've seen before. It's a slightly different look. You see the Cosmic Divide coming out as well, and the Viper's Pit Riv. This is a full-blown fake, right? There is no intention to go A, but man, nuturn have bit, and they've bit hard.
See how they recoup. You always get to do the full retake if this is the case, but that doesn't mean it's any better. Perry starts one off. The Omen from the shadows takes down Jammies, and we'll see how this one plays out. They finally find out that Jammies has been hanging out on A too long.
Vanity's playing off across the middle of the map as well. So they've got some control of the rotations. That's going to keep Harry at bay. Here comes the Thunder. Blocky has already been cleaned up. You hear the lockdown is going to come out as well. Buy a little time. The tap was there. No, Effie's gets absolutely destroyed. The gravity wall's coming out, and it's going to delay just a little bit. And the lockdown there as well, so they have to respect it. They have to back off. But Zelsis, not knowing what's going on, has to check it. Zelsis good for one. He gets cleaned up as Vanity alone in a 1v3. Yep. And the time is running as well. Vanity might do it. Ladies and gents, the 1v1 as the spike continues to tick away. It's not at half. Suggest gets the kill, but V1 get the round win.
And it is a push to the last moment for these rounds. nuturn having a very, very methodical retake and hold in the middle of that site take, coming in together, trading over each other's shoulders, and then it comes down to it again. It's not a lineup this time, but that post-plant of version 1 is just so deadly and hard to break through.
Hey, look at him too, man. Vanity just shows no emotion in those plays, in those moments. It's like cold poker face. I'd never want to call a bluff on that guy. Version 1, full rifles. nuturn not nearly as fortunate. They have one in the hands of Lakia, who has the showstopper. But it seems like V1, they have found something that's starting to work. Of course, as I say that, the one rifle on the side of nuturn takes care of Penny.
Valley brought it up coming into our last map, or out of our last map, that Penny was finding those first deaths instead of first bloods a little more. And it was affecting version 1, so we'll keep an eye on that call out as well from the analyst desk as we proceed through this now, round 9. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, already a banger of a series. It's the final map here to see who stays up in the upper bracket between version 1 and nuturn Gaming. It looks like a little love towards B here from version 1, and a lot of focus from nuturn on defense has now pushed Killjoy to A.
Oh no. Oh no, the setup was there, right? You've got the judge, you also had the fault line. Everything was set up. nuturn fully committed to controlling this area of the map, and this was not a fake. Much like what we saw previously, V1 did want to go towards B. They put that Sage wall up as well to try to give them entry, and they get absolutely destroyed. Perry once again using the ultimate to grab information, much like we saw a couple of rounds ago, ensure that nobody is pushing up into garage, because they have to flip the map. Yeah, Zelsis was deep, but he still gets punished. Jammies is alone, and he's not around for long. A flawless round from nuturn. And I mean,
and that is prime gaming.
It is prime gaming indeed. You're absolutely right. It seems like every time V1 like figures something out and they punch back, nuturn just respond in kind.
Yeah, nuturn is literally reading version 1 like a book on these plays. I mentioned, I was like, oh my god, all of that utility from KJ was very much focused towards A. KJ's usually on A for the side of nuturn, but the way they focused the util made me think B could be very dangerous, but the way these nuturns set up, being behind each other, always having that contact play with somebody else to take the firefight as well, they do so well playing off each other in these moments where they're just feeling it. And right now, they very much are. As we come into round 10, Suggest a bit of a peek there, and he almost loses all of his head.
Yeah, second chance at life. He gets messed up, just down to 10 health, but he manages to get away. No heals on the side of nuturn to get him back to full health. And much like we've seen the last couple of rounds, right? Like Jamie's the default, feeling things out on A, not getting any info, right? Now, like not getting any positioning. No real estate has been gained. And because of that, they can still play around this. They being nuturn, right? They still have the Nanoswarm. They still have the turret. And you see the activation of that because V1 showed, and now they're going to pull back. The Sage Wall is up. They're going to work their way in through heaven. Vanity rains fire down onto Suggest from top row. Perry trades it back out. Perry looking to hold fast. No, he's going to get cleaned up as the 3v3 comes through. Effie's res brings Vanity back into things, and there's Locky, showstopper. The blast pass across, and he lands onto one. Vanity rips him down from the skies as Allow is now the one on the entry. There's the lockdown as Elsis cleans up Allow. Solo has to make some magic happen. There's a snake bite again, delaying entry. At least just a little bit, make him think about it. Solo does finally get cleaned up. We talked about this Riv, right? For V1, 7-5, 8-4, that's a win. Right now it's been rocky, but they're holding serve.
This play coming in here, just seeing how it all executed, how it all worked out. You can't underestimate the use of the lockdowns here, but the placement of it wasn't in range. It was a different place than usual. So it leaves that spot open, just these small things at the last moment when you are forced to make the play. That's what it starts coming down to, is the opponents forcing each other to make plays under certain situations. You're trying to set a play up, you start getting shot at, you're gonna have to start darting and nading under that aspect of firefight. So that's all the nuturn's trying to put down onto version 1. They're just not letting them do anything easy or fundamental to start off.
You can feel like version 1, or excuse me, nuturn have a really good idea that they're going to want to hit B. Perry has smoked the entrance out of Garage twice. They also invested the fault line at the beginning of the round, which is pretty standard. And there's also the denial of info. So version 1 has no idea if somebody's crossed across Garage to be holding that flank. All of the heavy investment that way. Now, V1, because they haven't found much room to work with elsewhere, they're kind of like huddled up in the middle of the map. This is normally where we see Jammies peek out, see if he can get a kill, and then if they do, they can try to exploit the middle, work their way through ropes to get towards A. Oh, but it's Solo who gets impatient. It's Solo who gets punished. And while it wasn't through vents, it wasn't through ropes, they are going to go back towards A with 30 seconds left.
I think that's perfect by version 1. We'll talk about that in a minute as they rush the site here. Penny's going to be the first one in, looking for Locky at screens.
Here comes the Cosmic Divide as well. Penny playing just on the other side of it. Remember, he's got the Blade Storm, but if he's not careful, they're going to show up right behind him. Locky playing on the other side of the wall as it looks like they're just going to wait it out. And Riv, again, look at it. It's a 5v4. They're so concerned with controlling economy, with not losing grasp on the map, that they're willing to cut ties very early. It's the third time we see them do this.
It's kind of incredible to see, honestly. And exits may be something that they can get here. We'll talk a little bit about what I wanted to coming in and why this was such a good play for version 1. nuturn is doing a great job at just denying info. I have hardly ever seen a team that doesn't put anyone in B heaven. We have seen version 1 walk all the way up there and out of B heaven multiple times, into ropes, out of ropes, because there's nothing to be grabbed there. And nuturn's saying, sure, grab it. We're ready for the site take. Our plan is here. We're playing to your game, version 1. I keep looking at the V and saying Vision Strike nuturn, and I've been watching VOD after VOD. It's so hard to not say it. I apologize to everyone out there. But yeah, they're just, nuturn this time is not falling prey to playing version 1's game.
Last round of the half, you got to keep a look at ultimates. Zelsis 1 point away from having the lockdown in tow. There's the fault line. The smoke comes out as well on top of the nade, but this time it's an excellent counter, expecting that Perry's going to go around. They invest in Nanoswarm as well. Perry gets messed the F up. and he has to back up.
That is pretty messed up.
That is pretty messed up. Solo gets cleaned up at the hands of Jammies as Penny flies across this screen. And look at the setups, right? They know where they want it. They've dropped the ping. The smoke from Viper is there as well. Penny's not allowed to get into the site at all as the spike goes down. They've got the lineups. This should be vintage version 1 here, Riv.
Hold it, bold. Let's see if they can get. They have a few right under hell, nice and easy. And yeah, they're just pressuring nuturn into having to take something.
Well, and that's the thing, like, we've never seen nuturn have to do this because now that it's the last round of the half, they're gonna fight it. There's no reason not to. Zelsis is creeping his way around. Penny flashed up, dashes away, somehow stays alive just long enough, but does get cleaned up. Suggest on the defuse. Effys and Zelsis are both there. Effys and Zelsis come right around the corner just in the nick of time to tie us up at 6 going into the second half.
What a start to this map. And kudos, I should say, for nuturn. An amazing start. And kudos to the side of version 1 for being able to pull it back. Looking at the score lines. Usually we don't say this, look, KDA is on my word, but looking at the score lines, you can see it has been a complete team effort by the side of version 1. Nobody's having the ability to pop off. Nobody's coming out. It's not Penny's day. This is requiring a lot of teamwork, and we're seeing a different version of the team now that they're kind of allocated to playing that style.
All right, nuturn on the attack. We talked about what score version 1 needed to hit in order to feel good. They surpassed that. And now it's on nuturn on the attack. What can they do? What areas of the map can they exploit? Again, this from a historical perspective, it is a bit better of a half for version 1, right? From a defensive perspective, they tend to play this a bit better. And as you mentioned, Riv, it's painfully average out of nuturn on attack on split.
They don't have the breach just yet. I feel like that's kind of the initiation of the play after they figure out what's going on. Flank is going to be held by Perry as usual, just on the Omen, not the Astra this time. They do see a wall in front. That's not going to be activated just yet. The site take comes in from nuturn, and they've made great ground.
Yes, they have indeed, as Penny and Zelsis are both out. Now Lau, the same spot we saw Penny in just a couple of moments ago, trying to control entry in from the defender's spawn. You see Jammies up in heaven, trying to clear things out as well, and they're gonna have to bust a move here relatively soon. Good investment of utility. Yeah, Jamie's trying to clear some space. Here they go. Vanity flying across the screen. It's actually Effys that does it. Balakia cleans him up. Jamie's still up atop in heaven. He's left alone, and he's not around for long. So nuturn win the pistol, a very important pistol.
Nicely done, too. In the end there, still having a bit of util, using it correctly. I thought they might have got caught out with the single peeks they did on elbow right here. This was the secondary of the peeks by Lakia. Able to hold it down, though. Not a problem for him as he gets his feet a little wet in the Viper's bite before end of the round with an and one. So that's a nuturn round. That's a pistol round coming in. They're usually able to secure these. Are the shotties there? Always for Vanity. Always got a pocket shotty. But it is not going to be the regular buy here for version 1. Split is not a game you can start messing with Econ on. The moment you start going down on Econ, the map starts to roll in your opponent's favor.
Oh my gosh, that was borderline filth out of Solo. He did get one, but it got traded out. And you see nuturn is dashed on to B, the paranoia to follow up, as well as Elias got into the backside. Now Vanity's in this great spot, but all he has is a classic. There's just not much you can do with that weapon. So Sight in full control of nuturn here. Version 1 trying to fight for a retake. The only thing they have that's better is the Spectre in the hands of Penny, and he's got 5 health left. Well, he had 5 health left.
That is the story a lot of the times, huh? Perry and Suggest, along with Allow here. Allow's like, I don't want to go down, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this Spectre. I'll be the last one to peek. Perry says, on me. Full health, full kill. Nice little round there for themselves. See what they actually keep in terms of guns. Suggest did have that shotty in hand that he picked up. The Bucky for himself. And again, there you can see very much a team game across the board for the side of version 1, trying to pull it together. Jammies your information, grab it on the other side of the map. Usually trying to figure out the 1v1s and keep the post plants going on. The rest of the team playing well. Effie's now not on his Sova. We are seeing a little bit less of an impact there, but it's not like, oh, we shouldn't play Sova. He's just Sage this time, and it's almost a necessity. This wall right here is so big for shutting down a strategy in its tracks, and we'll see if we can get a bit of that.
I mean, and that's exactly what they've done so far, right? U-turn fully stacked on A. They wanted to go that way. There is nobody lurking, gathering information anywhere. And that wall off the bat just buys so much time. On top of the gravity well, in case it gets broken down, they're able to mow them apart. And while that is how things panned out, they weren't able to get the kills. Lakia dashing across your screen. Effie's holds fast, good for one. The paranoia comes out as he has to reposition. Reload, no, not gonna matter as he gets taken out at the hands of Allow. Now, for nuturn, they have some control on the site. They've got Solo playing the middle of the map as well.
Yep.
And Perry on the swing. He was holding such a pivotal part, but no, he gets cleaned up. The spike goes down.
Solo is so big for this round.
Oh, and he's hearing everything, Riv.
And he's taking the last move.
Yeah, if he can be patient, if he can be quiet, he's got a chance at something, but no, now his position's been given away. Here we go, another entry in from the defender spawn because there's no control of Heaven. Vanity has to clear them out or else they're just gonna be ripped to shreds. Vanity does clear them out. Now they can apply pressure from different areas. They've got Vanity up in Heaven. They've got people working their way around Pillar, but Allow! Allow does not allow any of that to go down. Suggest gets one as well. nuturn get to 9.
That's huge by nuturn. After version 1 identified what was going on up in Heaven, Vanity's seeing Solo behind, that should have been the rest of version 1 in the site, completely collapsing on the members that were there. But for Allow and Suggest to be able to hold those angles, even they know that was a hell yes. They were on the edge of their seat for that one, and on knife's edge for sure. 9-6 though, nuturn getting a bit of a lead.
They are. Now version 1 are on a broken buy again. You've got the judge in the hands of Vanity, but that's it. Meanwhile, nuturn far more bang behind their punches. They've got full rifles across the board. You see, I mean, we've seen a little bit of a look towards A, but that's really been it so far from the side of nuturn as they've leaned towards B. You see Jamie's taking some of that space away. The dash across the site, the paranoia that follows, Allow goes up from the top ropes, and it's actually Zelsis' Nano Swarm that's able to get the opening pick. Allow with 18 health left. Certainly sitting dicey, and they know he's there, but they're not going to clear it. They're not going to clear it. Allow is still okay.
Gets to shake off the concussion. He'll be good back there. Very low HP though. Jammy's able to tag one down. Quick Viper Bite for any push that may come in as they pincer the site. This is going to be Jammies and Penny.
Jamie's good for it. Jamie's has he was the only one with a rifle. That's huge. It's now Perry alone in a 1v2 with 18 health, 3 bullets to his name. Has to switch over to the classic. Penny playing around the Cloudburst so patiently, so intelligently for version 1 there. There was not a, okay, we know where he is. Everyone fly at him. They were very patient. They played things out beautifully, and they bridged the gap down to 2.
What a round there. And a much necessary round. You can see the Thrifty coming up on your screen as they make it happen. And now they have a few guns to be working with on the round. We'll recap this one right here. The push around from Jammies. I mean, the guy sets up the same wall they set up on attack. He's like, this feels comfortable. Now we're going to go ahead and do something else around the map. Working together as per usual. Jammies, Penny, making it work. He's like, no, like we were ever going to lose that one. What's the setup here? Across the map, it's split. We do have the spike right now away from the rest of nuturn, so expect this one to be drawn out a bit and a bit more of a default play from nuturn Gaming.
Also note that Lakia is the only one without a rifle or a Spectre even, right? He's only got the Sheriff.
Are they focusing his ult here? Yeah, he's getting ult.
And that's, I mean, this is like full-on entry, full-on commit, right? They've got the Rolling Thunder. They have the Showstopper as well. There was a recon mission to try to grab that ult orb to get Lakia's ultimate online, and they've succeeded, right? So box 1 on this to-do list, checked. There's still a long way to go, though.
Okay, taking down the wall, always imperative. If a wall is in your game, put a hole in it, people. Make that Sage sweat a little bit. Never just leave the wall up. That's weird. That's weird. Tips for all. PSA. Oh, baby.
And it
Swept
wasn't
off
with the
his
Rolling
feet.
Thunder. The Rolling Thunder was actually elsewhere. The Paranoid's going to follow up. Alakia gets a kill onto Effie's anyway. Zelsis somehow has gotten behind them. Spots parry, denies any other entry, and that includes the spike. Now that sideline has been given up. Now Solo's going to work his way in. As Penny with the op in 1 HP. Looking to make something happen. There's a gravity well. Vanity dodging. Fancy footwork around the utility to trying to keep him back. As the spike has gone down. Keep an eye on Parry on the minimap. Work in the middle as Zelsis good for one. Lockdown on top of the Viper Spit. They are fully committing to taking this site back. Lakia has to back up. The op with 1 HP. Doesn't matter. He's good for it. Eventually gets cleaned up. Jamie's gets one as well. The defuse is there. Suggest playing just on the other side. But Suggest good for one. Surely giving me a heart attack. Along with the rest of North America, as it looked like he was going to do it, but no, Zelsis is able to get the defuse. Version 1 get to 8. This thing's going back and forth, Riv.
The intensity with which version 1 needed to retake that site was seen in the ultimate usage. Literally on the front doorstep of everything that was happening once they could get into position, and V1 throwing it down. nuturn doing such a nice job of breaking these sites open, getting in. I love the rolling thunder. Hey, sometimes you gotta ask. I love the rolling thunder coming in.
He just wasn't sure. Yeah.
Unintentional reposition of the Killjoy turret, which then didn't activate as much on people running in. So it was Zelsis not getting as much information on what was happening. Unintentional, but still a really neat aspect of that last round. And Vanity. Vanity being Vanity, you know, hyping it up, spicing things up as well. And he has some questions for his opponents.
So if your version, here. Yeah, well, if you're nuturn here.
Okay, I'm nuturn. Right?
You just saw a heavy investment of utility of ultimates from version 1 to take that site back, and it was a good entry, right? You also invested the Showstopper, you also invested the Rolling Thunder, but now you're broke. Right, like you're busted. You've got Lakia with the Sheriff, and you've got Allow on a little something. But really, what are you looking to do here, Riv? Ideally, just take a couple of weapons away from V1?
Honestly, it would hopefully be more than that. But they know this is one of those pivotal rounds that can start to swap the game back and forth. Let's take a look at the econ here as it comes through. That's 2 rounds right now for version 1. So that means this round loss is $2,900 on top of nuturn's money. More than enough credits to be purchasing on that side. If version 1 gets reset, they get $1,900, which could actually put them in a spot where they're not finding all of the utility they need, right? That's $2,600 for jammies if that comes to fruition. On this, he purchased a gun this round, $7,200. So there's been a drop already for version 1. You said this round could be pivotal. These rounds could be pivotal, and it gets even more as it goes. It's gonna be towards B. Spike is down though.
And you can feel it, Riv, right? Like every T crossed, every I dotted. The heaviness of the moment as these teams are just quietly playing through, understanding that this is a pivotal round for economy for both teams as they try to stay in the upper bracket here in Masters Reykjavik. For nuturn, they've tested the waters B, they cleared some stuff out, and they invested a little bit as well. But they are going to flip things back, and you see an adjustment from version 1. I think on most other maps, given what they saw early on, you're taking a little bit away, right? Like you're working down ramps, you're working through sewers, you're trying to take some of the middle of the map away. That has not been the case at all year. That was terrifying. That was jump scare stuff right there.
I was not ready for that. I'm glad the players are still vibing right now because, man, this is intense. All right, coming back, testing the water. Penny says 1, Blade Storm out.
It's a fake, though. It's a fake, though. Solo's going to invest the lockdown, but the spike is still on the other side. It's Vanity who's alone. Yeah, Zelsis is close by.
I feel like this is one of Vanity's judge situations, but he's got the Phantom.
Zelsis backed up. I don't think Zelsis spotted him. But the trigger discipline. He's good for 1. Vanity from, Zelsis from up top gets it as well. Nobody bites on the fake. The clock is going to expire without the spike going down. A couple of members still alive on the side of nuturn. Of course, as I say that aloud, gets cleaned up, but we're tied up at 9 apiece. Version 1 from Finances should be sitting pretty.
10 seconds left.
That it should. We did see that, a bit of a round where nuturn wants to get the spike down. They run in a bit willy-nilly without having too much to invest, keeping the econ for further rounds now that we are 9-9. Noticing Penny did go down. That operator is now in the hands of Lakia on the other side. He has been focusing quite a bit for the team to be getting these frags. We saw his Sovas on Ascent, his plays before on Haven. He is somebody to definitely get the impact frags for the team. And instantly walled off as you saw them play that to be a quick smoke play, but didn't work. He was trying to hit the utility window that version 1 uses.
And again, a quiet start to this round. As you mentioned, the Viper's Wall delaying some of that initial aggression from nuturn. They do have the From the Shadows in the hands of Perry, and we've seen him use that for info gathering really every time this map, excuse me. Now we'll see how things play out. Is V1, V1's not getting a lot of information here either, Riv. This is very much like a wait, patiently see things out. Look at where Jammies is right now. I often call that the discipline corner, right? Because it's rare. You have to, when you're dashing across site to get entry on A, you have to look there, and it's actually kind of sickening how frequently that box goes unchecked.
And it's a perfect play here from what could be from Penny as he draws the attention.
That was loud.
Jammies has a field day. Yeah, that was pretty loud. Breach has some big old feet. So they're going to get themselves into a slight position here. And this is where we saw nuturn as well, kind of leaving the map open. They're like, you know, middle of the map's open. Let's play it. And now it's going to be that play towards the A Heaven side. Effie's ready and waiting.
They are committing onto the site. The discipline corner! The discipline corner! They don't check it! Jammies gets too lucky and stuffs the barrel of the op in his mouth to clean him up, but with 4 seconds left, they've got to hurry up. He's getting delayed. He's not going to have time. The gravity wall keeps him off there. He's not able to get the spike planted. Version 1 take the lead.
nuturn with a bit of a pause strat there. They balk once they get into vents, and it seemed like it was almost reminiscent of a nuturn double pump, back and forth, and then hit. But they kind of said, all right, well, now is the time to go. And the first people jumping in are all looking at the same thing. No one really had a corner to look at. It was kind of just in the moment, which meant there wasn't as much utility usage as there could have been. And all A entry from Heaven is a little weird, too, to regain.
Yeah. So oftentimes when you see teams approach, have that style like nuturn just did, it's intended to cause questioning on the defensive half and to make them unsure about themselves. But the discipline that we've seen out of version 1 to maintain their angles, to not give up an inch, and to be patient, not aggressively peek a corner, has been what's really made this approach from nuturn ineffective, entirely ineffective.
They've been able to keep the operator in hand. Tiny little jump peaks here, going over towards A. Is that Solo figuring out what's going on, getting the info for the team. He just Solo called for a smoke. He wants to see if that will draw any more attention from somebody across the map, as the rest of the team of nuturn now works it over towards mid. Looks like they will finally meet up with Solo. The captain, the kind of that brain they listen to is suggest is your captain, your leader there. But yeah, they're making their way back over.
So Effie's puts up that wall up in A Heaven, and version 1 rotate off because they have the safety of that. As soon as that wall went up, and as soon as nuturn saw the wall riv, nuturn rotated into A, expecting that version 1 was going to pull off, and they should have a numbers advantage on the site, and that's why they're sticking to it. But the paranoia misses onto Penny. Jammies goes entirely undetected as well. 2 have already dropped on the side of nuturn with 13 seconds left. There's not enough time to go elsewhere. There is no plan B. You've got to commit onto it here. 7 seconds left. Effie's trying to be the last line of defense, but Solo mows his way through what version 1 had set up. Now Vanity and Zelsis are showing up a bit late to the party as the spike goes down. He has the Cosmic Divide, so he's got some utility. He's got a little something. They have a chance.
They've used the Cosmic Divide to get into a site and blast through, but I think without more than 2 viewpoints. Oh my God, Zelsis hits the unhittable shot. Oh my word! It's gonna be Vanity getting parry in the back. Doug, we always see that trolling and tricking people into firing, but even under recoil control. Woohoo, Zelsis eagle eyes the head off his opponent. 11-9, a gap is created now by version 1 here on Split over nuturn. And we're coming up to round 21.
Dude, that was filth. I imagine we're gonna see that again. There was actually so much that was big there. Suggest dying, Zelsis peeking off of his turret, and then somehow that happens onto Solo. You think you really hate to see if you're a fan of nuturn, because you look at that and go, really?
That shot,
that happened?
I rate that harder than Cypher No Hat and Purple Reyna. Boom. That's how hard that shot is. Yep. All right, getting into the next round.
nuturn showing heavy presence towards A, but not peeking out. It's actually Jammies who's got the op here, normally in the hands of Penny. But Jammies has shown he's pretty formidable with it as well. A couple of cloud bursts to deny info. He may, I think he did spot that. I think he spotted Allow.
Here.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Just enough.
Oh man, the pressure, right? The paranoia, the everything is thrown his way, and he has to back up. He has to give that space up.
Little flash dash combo. You always love to see it start off a round. Pressure the opposing team. Let's see if they have a secondary. What's the secondary util now? The first bit of area was gained as we look at nuturn pretty critically here for this round. Seeing that first strat, allowed space to be gained by Allow, and now they'll try to keep coming up. Already the play from Solo towards mid as they hold the rotation too. So waiting on the patience here, but each round has been that last 30 seconds, Doug.
And Rave, it's not even just the Solo getting control. The wall was up from Effie's. They cleared it out, and that pulls Effie's back over because they wanted to go A. The Rolling Thunder comes out on top of the showstopper as Lakia gets on to Penny. Jammies with the op, still alive as the spike begins to go down. Solo is still in an excellent spot to cause problems. We mentioned the Cosmic Divide. It's still available here. Effie's also has the res, so you imagine he's going to come over. If they can provide a little bit of cover, there's a chance at something there, but the sight lines are so tight. There's the cover that I was talking about. The Cosmic Divide comes up, but they still have to try to peek around that res. They bring Penny online. Lakia is so tempted to work around it, and he doesn't do it, but Allow does. Solo drops as Allow with the Blade Storm gets snatched out of the sky, not able to provide any impact. The paint to that Lakia, the flash on to suggest a round win for nuturn. Oh my gosh!
Amazing stuff. The Cosmic Divide not ruffling the feathers of nuturn all that much, knowing it would allow version 1 onto the site. They just set up to watch version 1 walk through, and the shots they were able to make, the plays they were able to hit. Beautifully done on that stop there. And overall, Doug, this got me laughing, because what other ultimate can you throw the Rolling Thunder at than Showstopper? Ray doesn't give a crap if she's concussed in there. She's still hitting a rocket shot. So that amount of chaos just does not leave you any choice. I love that play from nuturn.
Very well played indeed, and that's going to bridge the gap down to 1 round lead for version 1. As you see, Jammies has invested the Viper's Pit right off the bat to control entry onto A. Imagine we'll see a wall from Effie's here soon, presumably either across mid or, entry past Mail. And what that really does is that's forcing nuturn into a spot where it's like, all right, dude, do you have the balls to push into the Viper's Pit? Probably not. Do you want to work through the wall? You don't know what's on the other side. So they have to funnel A towards B into Garage, and look at all the utility, right? They're even set up to where when Allowed dashes across, which is a very common entry for Jett, where's she dashing into? All of the utility, all of the nanoswarms, everything that's there. With that in mind, they're still considering hitting it, but there's just no easy entry in, Rev.
And also, we have not mentioned it much throughout this. Obviously, Vanity's Astra, Harry's Omen, but you also see what the Astra's doing to stop the flow of play along with Sage Orbs, along with everything else they can throw in there. It's not just an Omen Smoke or Paranoia, so you can see how much more it's kind of adding to being able to gravity well, being able to Nebula. Penny's been there the whole time, never moved an inch, finds the first one.
Oh my gosh, it's a meat grinder! Zelsis and Vanity rip them to shreds! A Prime Gaming flawless, all off the backs of that Viper's Pit at the beginning. The process of elimination for nuturn to understand we can't go anywhere else except right into version 1's lap, and that puts them at map point, that puts them at series point.
The way version 1 takes control, and still at this level, their opponent is just dumbfounded at the moment when they walk around the corner, is one of the reasons they're here. When you're amazing the casters, when you're amazing everybody else, and you're pulling out stuff like this, it's just the wow factor, and it's a consistent thing coming from version 1, and it might allow them to topple their opponents in nuturn here in this game point.
Dude, I could break down that round. I could talk about that round for probably an hour. There was just so much that version 1 did well, but now nuturn, they've got the lockdown ready to go. They're leaning towards A as they fight to keep this map alive. Map 2 went into overtime, and this looks like it very well could as well, but for nuturn, you've got to come up big. You've got to come up real big. You see the investment of utility already, right? Like, they've invested the Roomba, now they've invested the lockdown, and because of that, look at how version 1 are creeping across the middle of the map. The Sage Wall has blocked off mid. Vanity has full control of ropes and vents. They have defensive spawn as well. They know where they're going. And for nuturn, they're going to have to push their way into it. Effys gets detained. Are they going to hunt him down? Vanity's there with the bait, but Lakia wins it anyway. He's going to get the third. As Lakia, or excuse me, as version 1 are down to 2 members remaining. Now it is Zelsis, and it is Penny. I'm going to call Zelsis one of their star duelists because up until this point, that's what he has played. But now, on the Killjoy, can you have the same effect?
Penny onto Perry, 3v2. Still a decent amount of time to get over to the spike, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening on this round 4v1.
Huh. Yeah, they're just going to pull off. Zelsis will try to save whatever weaponry he can into the next round. As you see, members of nuturn, both Suggest and Lakia are going to carry a rifle in as well. And Riv, we find ourselves at this pivotal juncture yet again, where we're 1 round away from overtime.
OT for me, please. Let's see it. Oh my word, what a game so far. And the play, honestly, maybe just losing the moment of what was going on to have that ult be able to grab somebody on it. Could, you know, it's a bait, we got to detain. But to not be able to play off of what you're trying to set up on your opponent and just fall prey to everything they wanted, it's not a good look. We get 1 from each though, right? Version 1's round before that slaughtered nuturn. Nuturn bringing it right back to him, delivering the same medicine. As now the setup across the map does put Penny with the operator on B. You have Effys over near heaven of B, under there just to get the slows on. So this is your stop power over here on the B site.
Oh,
now they know there's an op though.
Yeah, dude, and you see that smoke to deny that exact play right there. The wall goes up, and you think it's you have a little bit more freedom. You would think to swing around that and get the ult orb, but the smoke from Perry buys enough space for them to get that ult orb into their pocket, and now they're going to turn their attention over to A with just under a minute left on the clock. They have the showstopper. Perry's going to have his From the Shadows as well.
I would love to see that From the Shadows go towards the back with a showstopper following.
Yep.
Almost immediate chaos once again. They're going to hold everything for now. Showstopper is actually going into heaven. Sorry, into sight, I should say. And that's going to be Zelsis going down to start.
Zelsis was the only one on the site. They invested a considerable amount to get on there. We mentioned the showstopper. We mentioned the From the Shadows. Those have been used. But version 1 are still in a decent spot to be able to take this thing back. Penny has an operator. And that's a big kill. Suggest needs to win that. My gosh, Suggest needed to win that. Vanity on the rope. Literally on the rope, manages to win that gunfight to bring us down to 4 apiece. Version 1, the clock continues to tick away. You're going to have to go here, and you're going to have to go soon. Allow takes care of Penny. It was a dogfight in disguise as Lakia is good for 1 as well. Solo playing around it. No, he gets mowed down through the smoke as it's a 2v2. Perry in a great spot. Lakia's in a good spot as well. Baby, if it wasn't enough the first time, we're doing it again. We're going to overtime.
It's exactly what we need to see from these two teams. The caliber of play has topped, and we are now seeing them leave everything on the map. I cannot wait to see what they even pull out in these overtime rounds. Seeing what nuturn was going through in map 1 made this series, Doug, we have to recap, made this series seem like it was version 1's from the beginning. But that was never the case. nuturn knew they could come back. They had the strats. At times, they have made version 1 play their game. And now both teams, again, like you said, meet each other in the overtime. It's now, is it the up? Do they bring it back out? They will not. It's going to be full buys all around with rifles, full armor, as they're not leaving anything to chance. Tactical timeout here coming in from nuturn to start off our overtime round. But will it be version 1 entering this tournament with the sub of Jammies, surprising the world, or the Kingslayers of Korea to move on in the upper bracket, taking down Damwon Kia to get here, taking down Vision Strikers to get here, and showing a lot of potential and power doing it. And now we got this matchup. It couldn't have ended any other way.
No, absolutely not. I think the one thing that we have to keep in mind here is as we go into overtime, as we think about how each side played out for both teams, version 1 were very effective on the attacking half, right? You remember it was a 6-6 half, which is not common on split. That means they have really had something good going for them on the attacking side. Now version 1 is going to be starting the overtime on attack. We'll see what nuturn can do. We'll see what kind of adjustments they have to make really to stifle the aggression that version 1 showed that got them to a 6-6 half.
And this is where you get to use everything, Doug. This is where everybody looks at utility usage. Everybody looks at how you're playing these rounds out, because it's now up to you. It's not up to what the econ is providing you this round. You're not out of a molly. What will you be able to do with everything? And that's one of the parts I love, is these are the strats these teams have orchestrated for OTs. It's kind of like the penalty shot. What do they have? What secret is it to get that one round in their favor?
Okay, so slight adaptation, but a similar look from nuturn early on. The fault line into garage, the smoke from Perry to deny information, but it's a slight miss, so Vanity's actually able to check that back corner that's been so problematic for Vanity and for the rest of V1 on that first half. Now they have full control there. Yes, Zelsis dropped. We'll see what Vanity can do to exploit things, and oh my gosh, Jammies has as well.
Great push there as they were coming back, able to get up and get a bit on a Zelsis and Jammies.
That's a terrifying
Vanity's still working it. The crossfire in A2 as well by nuturn, terrifying.
Way.
It's going to be tough for this to actually make something work. Great positioning by version 1 here, but yeah, that's a difficult one.
Riv, that Arumba somehow didn't detect the two members of V1 as they pushed through, and now they're actually coming in from behind. There's an excellent pinch because of what Vanity was able to do, but Vanity has to come up big here. He's already gotten one. But he's in a 1v3. Yeah, he's going to get cleaned up. The concerns that we had about nuturn on the defensive half have for now been stifled as they take the lead.
Match point.
Woo! See what happens here as we check the replay. Oh my word. That kind of play, it puts a smile on my face, because it's in the mind of your opponent, and that's how you always have to be playing. The moment you're thinking, I need to nade, I need to move up, you're already 2 steps behind your opponent. You always need to be thinking, are they moving? What are they doing? And yeah, they're moving. Here comes Allow.
Full-on aggression, but again, it's a bait. You see Allow has made a whole lot of noise towards A, but the spike is quietly making its way towards B. And Riv, I mentioned the discipline that version 1 showed in regulation, but now they've bit really hard on the early aggression. So nuturn's going to be able to get onto B really for free, unless Zelsis can cause some heroics. He's already taken care of Lakia. What else does he have left in him?
Quick turret up. Flanked now by Allow. Waiting very, very patiently for any noise. They're not going to give it to him just yet. It looks like the flank won't be had by version 1 as they come back into the site here, but it is going to be Zelsis watching for Allow as here comes the retake ever so slowly.
They're waiting for Jammies to show up. Now Jammies has joined the fold, but Allow, as you said, is on the flank. Might cause a problem. No Penny highlights this time around as, my goodness, it very well may be happening. Zelsis drops one, but what else can he do? No, ladies and gentlemen, bow down to your Korean overlords as they take down North America and they advance.
adapting, finding the ways in. Oh no, they cut off the cat ears. Oh my word. Woo, well, you know what? I hear that. I hear that. What a game. Version 1 taken down by the Kingslayers coming out of Korea. nuturn Gaming. And they did it in fierceful, aggressive fashion after their first mishap on Haven.
And Penny there, like, dude, how many times has Penny been good in that moment, right? Like, peeking through with the op, not able to land at this time. And Zelsis, while he tried getting things back, he was able to get one. It just wasn't enough. The aggression that we saw out of nuturn in overtime really took care of business. And you can tell, man, the boys, they're riding on Cloud 9 right now. You saw the ears cut off. We've seen a couple of references to that already. And it's all in good fun, don't get me wrong, but man, nuturn, they're feeling so good right now.
And this could be, or will be now, a lower bracket run for Vision 1 if they can make it, Version 1 if they can make it happen. There's the love. Everybody's so happy. Lakia representing Korea. We saw a lot of big plays from him. At the end of the day, all of nuturn came together. The tac pause jumps that they were able to come off of after talking it out, figuring out, triaging what was going wrong, those tac pauses really counted for nuturn Gaming. And the way they started to understand speed and execution after drawing out Version 1 across the map is what started to win them a lot of their rounds on Ascent. And I think that's on Haven, and I think that started to churn into what they did on Ascent and even more on Split.
Yeah, you can feel like this death ball, right, starting to roll up, much like we saw against Sharks, and it was certainly closer than it was against Sharks. But the outcome really was the same, right? And there's so much that nuturn can build off of here, because think about the storylines heading into this. We've talked about this on the desk. How good is Korea at a tactical FPS? You know, they're very good at other games, but much like North America, the region has been riddled with doubt. So for nuturn, that's such a big win for them to find themselves here. They were one of those like dark horses, right? Who they're just on the cusp. They can make a deep run, and Riv, freaking A, they've done it.
I always thought they were definitely a strong team. Scrimbucks or not, or what people are saying. Looking at the utility usage of Korea, I mean, you rolling Thunder to Showstopper. It's like an extra blast pack for the Rays. I love seeing that. Spice it up. Let's go. They definitely came out deserving that win.
They absolutely did. What a series. nuturn is going to advance to play the other North American team in Sentinels. While Version 1 is still alive, as you mentioned, they're still going to have an opportunity to make a lower bracket run. Stick around, folks, as Dash is going to be standing by with nuturn suggests to break down this epic matchup in our Verizon post-match interview. You're not going to want to miss it.
They freaking did it, folks. Nuturn topple North American Giants version 1, sending them to the lower bracket. Welcome back to the studio, folks. Golden Boy here with my colleagues. We have Veli, Lothar, and Achilleos. They move forward, and let's move forward with our Prime Gaming highlights. Achilleos, pop off, Seth King. Just pop off. What do you want to say?
I don't mind if I do at all. I am ready to take a look back through these highlights. Good God. I mean, down to the wire. I asked about it, at the beginning. Can we please get another OT? I said I was feeling it. The teams delivered on it. A lot of things that I'm sure we'll see throughout these highlights is we could have completely avoided OT. This could have been a much cleaner win for nuturn if Solo just learned how to look left and right from time to time. Did not do a lot of corner checking. Got punished pretty heavily throughout, so they definitely could have played this a lot better. But they get the win in the end. This is Korea in the top 3. So many people out there, while I've been casting this region all year long, have been saying Koreans can't aim, blah, 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 blah. They never play tech FPS. Shove it right back into your faces. Shut up. Don't say that anymore. They have proven that they are one of the best regions out there. nuturn is one of the best teams in the goddamn world. Put some respect on their name. And if you try to pull any of that stuff again in the future, I'm coming for you. I'm not going to stand for it.
This is clearly a thing.
He deserves it, man.
He does. He stuck to his guns. He stuck to his guns when everyone else turned their backs on nuturn. It was always Achilleos there as well. I'm sure Paperthin felt the exact same way. But, Valley Man, Solo was the talk for a lot of us during the game itself because and Achilleos, you mentioned it, funnily enough, right? Like, sometimes you got to look left and right. I mean, look, folks, check your corners. That's just Valorant 101. But that's not to take anything away from Solo, though, because despite that, though, he made some, freaking mega brain